is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Southwest.
Coors Field lived up to its reputation yesterday, at least on the Rockies side, as baseballs were flying around and out of here at an alarming rate. If your Rangers want to take advantage of the mile-high air, they've got tonight only as they're heading home after the game. The series and the road trip wrap up next. The Rangers and the Rockies are coming up. Texas Rangers baseball is presented by AT&T UVerse TV. Well, the clouds have cast a pall over Coors Field, and the Rangers hope that spells doom for the Rockies tonight. Rangers playing the rubber game of this road trip. A win tonight, they come home with a winning record, and a loss tonight, they come back with a losing record. Coming up next, the Rockies and the Rangers from Coors Field. And welcome in, everyone, along with Tom Green, Steve Busby. Glad you could join us on this Tuesday night of Rangers baseball, and Rangers trying to kind of catch their breath, Tom, after last night. A tough night for the Rangers, especially with the offense that the Rockies threw out there. Robbie Ross Jr. on the hill tonight. He's trying to straighten things around for himself and quiet this Rocky team down.
Trying to do that, Buzz. After 3 starts, Robbie's ERA was 1. His last 3 starts haven't gone quite as well, especially his last start against Oakland. He has pitched very well on the road this year. He's had a couple of really good starts. This is a road start for him, but this will be a real test against a hard-hitting and very hot Rockies team. The Rangers' bullpen is a little tired right now. They'll be looking for Robbie to go 6 or 7 innings, hopefully, pitch a nice ball game tonight.
Well, Robbie knows that he needs to get that sinker back, commanding the strike zone with that sinking fastball, and it should serve him very well. Well, the Rangers looking to even things up with the Rockies before they extend this meeting down to Arlington tomorrow night. Rangers and Rockies coming up next from Coors Field on Fox Sports Southwest. is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Take the EcoBoost Challenge to see why Ford is the best in Texas. By AT&T UVerse TV. Check availability at 1-800-PIC-ATT. Rethink possible. By the all-new Mazda 3 with seamless connectivity. And by Southwest Airlines. Find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com. Well, a mild and cloudy evening here at Coors Field in Denver. Rangers getting set to finalize this brief two-game series and the road trip, taking on the Colorado Rockies. And Dave Magadan hoping that his offense will kick it into high gear tonight. Obviously, this is the kind of park that can get the job done offensively. And before we get started, Jim Knox is roaming around. He has corralled a bunch of Ranger fans way out there in center field. Knoxie?
That's right, Buzz. On top of the rock pile, high above Coors Field. You know, $4 seats right here with a bunch of Ranger fans. Well, you guys are cheap. $4 seats, but hey, great view of Coors Field looking down at the Rangers. You know, a lot of Rangers fans are spread around Coors Field. Some Ranger fans sitting behind third base, dugout where the Rangers are, and they had their time of their life this afternoon. They're part of the Rangers destination crew. This is what happened this afternoon. They got to take part in a luncheon here at Coors Field, and they got to meet and greet with Elvis. That's right, Elvis answered some questions, signed some autographs, so they had the time of their life, part of the Rangers destination group. Those fans have been here actually 2 days. And you know what? 2 more Ranger destinations trips will happen, Buzz. One in Washington, D.C. That will take place sometime in late May. And then in late July, a trip to New York as they take on the Yankees. To find out more information about that, log on to TexasRangers.com/Rangers destination. Where are you from, by the way?
Lubbock, Texas.
Lubbock, Texas. Get your guns up. All right, let's get the Rangers going. Let's go Rangers. We need a win tonight. Rangers and Rockies coming up next along with the lineups right after this quick timeout. Stay with us.
A lot of Ranger red and blue in the stands, and glad to see that as always. Rangers come into play tonight, still 2 games back in the AL West. Oakland lost last night to Seattle, so the Rangers at 17-15, trailing the A's by 2 full games. Rangers, though, only winners of 3 of their last 10 ball games. They are 8-8 on the road, and we got a little dance contest going on down in the dugout. What is going on down there?
They're trying to get ready for the ball game. That's how you used to get ready, wasn't it?
I guess.
Imagine doing that in the dugout 40 years ago.
Oh, you would have been hooted out of the entire ballpark. But Elvis and Prince, whatever it takes, guys, I'm all for it.
Me too.
That's great. So the Rangers trying to derail this Rocky team that at home, we kind of gave you an indication of how good they've been. They're 12-5 here in Denver this year. They are 7 out of their last 10 overall. 20-14. They're trailing the Giants in the National League West by a couple of games. Well, the Rockies coming in hitting at an even 300 as a team. That's overall. That's not just at home. Adrian Beltre and his group know that they've got to find a way to slow them down and get the Ranger bats going that were held to just a couple of runs in last night's game. Beltre had a couple of hits. There were times when the offense looked like it was getting ready to get on track, but boy, the Rockies last night, a relentless offense, scoring in every inning but 3. And it was quite an evening offensively, and Robbie Ross trying to find a way to calm that down tonight. Southwest Airlines brings you the Rangers starting lineup tonight. Shin-Soo Choo leading off in left. Leonis Martin moves up to the number 2 slot. Adrian Beltre bats third. Rich Fielder, the cleanup hitter, plays first. Alex Rios in right. Donnie Murphy is the second baseman this evening. J.P. Arencibia is catching. Elvis Andrews plays short, bats 8th. And Robbie Ross, the pitcher, bats 9th. Shin-Soo Choo, who has had an incredible road trip, getting set to start things off. A little delay here, and now the Rockies getting ready to take the field in support of Juan Nicasio. Right-hander headed out to the mound, and he comes in with a 3-1 record. I guess the thing that you have to point out about Nicasio, he fits right in with the rest of the Rockies starters, and that, well, the mantra has been good, hard sinkers. Keep the ball down in this ballpark, and you'll be okay. We saw that with Jordan Lyles last night. The effectiveness of that hard sinker down in the strike zone. The Rangers couldn't do a lot with it.
We'll look at the Sonic scouting report for Nicasio. He's had 6 starts this year. He's off to a good start. 3-1. Any ERA right around 4. Pitching for the Rockies is a pretty good ERA. His last start was probably his best start, not only this year, but maybe ever. 7 innings, 3 hits, no runs, and 95 pitches. 14-2 career record when he pitches more than 6 innings. I guess what that tells you is he's pitching well, he stays in longer. And under those conditions, he's 10-0 at Coors Field. Throws a lot of fastballs, also throws a slider, not much in the way of anything soft. Hard slider, good fastball, good sinker. He can be a little bit wild. He can throw a lot of pitches. But in his last start, it all came together for him. Prior to that, he had 2 starts where he was 0-1 and an ERA almost around 9. 15 hits and 9 runs in 9 1/3 innings. But coming off a really nice start.
He's one of those guys you know what to expect when you go out there and the hitter against him.
Not going to fool you.
Take a look at the Rockies defense behind him. Carlos Gonzalez is in left field. Drew Stubbs in center tonight. And Charlie Blackmon gets the start in right. Justin Morneau at first. Charlie Culberson, the second baseman. Troy Tulowitzki at short. And Nolan Arenado is the third baseman with Jordan Pacheco catching. And Juan Nicasio is on the hill. Nicasio has never faced the Rangers before. Walt Weiss checking over the numbers that the Rockies employ quite a bit. I mean, they are one of the most statistically conscious teams around. A lot of their strategy and a lot of their lineup, as a matter of fact, is statistically generated. Well, here's Shin-Soo Choo stepping in, and the American League leading hitter at 360. He is second in the major leagues in both average and on-base percentage. Troy Tulowitzki, 491 on-base percentage, again tops in the American League. We're ready to get underway. Nicasio set to go to work, and the first pitch of the ball game is a sinker on the outside corner for strike 1. Shin-Soo in the last 12 ball games hitting just below 500. That's out of play. 472 that average. This road trip, he has just been almost unstoppable. He's 9 for 13 during the 5 games now, 4 games prior to tonight on this road trip. Chopper to the right side. The second baseman Culberson has it. Chu is retired. That is out number 1. It'll bring up Leonis Martin. Officially 72 degrees at game time. Humidity is up a little bit tonight, Tom. It's 19% instead of 6%.
Well, it won't go anywhere, unless they hit it to right center field. Looked like that was the Bermuda Triangle last night, the way the ball shot out to right center field.
Leonis Martin, a .291 hitter, shows bunt, takes a strike. It is 0-1.
Now, Wash talked about batting Martin second. He said it's not a permanent thing, might only last tonight. His goal is to get Elvis going at the bottom of the order so he can move him back into the second spot. That's the ideal lineup. That's the lineup that Wash wants to use. But in the meantime, he's just trying to generate a little something at the top of the lineup and hopes Martin can do that.
Pitch outside. 2 balls and a strike. Well, you remember there's a streak last year when Leonis moved up to the leadoff spot and did a real good job for about 20 ball games. Then kind of lost the feel for it. Ball's hit pretty well to left center field. Moving over into the alley is Drew Stubbs, and he tracks it down 375 feet from home plate, but that's out number 2. Well, Nicasio having a big part of the ballpark to pitch to. And if you keep the ball from left center field around to, deepest right center field, you've got a big area out there for your outfielder patrol. And the ball's not easy to hit out, at least compared to the rest of the park.
Yeah, they say the area to stay away from if you're a pitcher is where the bullpens are out in right center field. That seems to be the spot where the ball carries the best.
You remember that one that Tulowitzki hit last night?
Tulowitzki hit one there last night, and the line drive that went over Martin's head early in the game. Another ball hit out there. Barnes might have hit it. That's the spot where it looked like it really jumped.
Yeah, I think Leonis Martin would agree with you.
Yeah, definitely. I think the one thing you have to do as an outfielder here is during batting practice, you have to play your position and play every ball like it's a game situation, so you get a little bit prepared for how the ball's going to carry.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that they've done that. But the first time in, it's pretty tough for an outfielder. I think that's a real home field advantage for the Rockies. Their outfielders know exactly what to expect.
Pitch is low to Beltre. The count moves to 2 balls and a strike. So Adrian on a pretty good tear, 5 for his last 9 trips to the plate. You mentioned that Beltre loves hitting in this ballpark. Highest career average all time at Coors Field, a .401 hitter. He takes the pitch inside. It's 3-1. Now with 2 outs, Beltre tried to get aboard. The cleanup man, Rich Fielder, waits to be next. Nicasio, a long look in. Now the right-hander goes to the wind. And that ball hit well to right center field. Looking up is Stubbs. Goodbye. There's that stream out there, Tom, you were talking about. And Adrian Beltre drives it right on out of here into the Ranger bullpen. And the Rangers lead 1-0 as Beltre homers for the first time this year.
Yeah, it's impossible to say exactly where that ball would have gone in our ballpark or different ballparks. It's hard to say. It's only been a couple of games, and the one thing we know for sure is if you do hit it well to that part of this ballpark, you've got a pretty good chance that it's going to carry into the bullpen. And that ball was hit extremely well. Got it up in the air, and it flew out of here, and he's strong enough to hit the ball out of any part of the ballpark. But there have been a lot of balls early in the season in our ballpark, and he's hit a couple of them that have been hit really well to center field. It barely got to the warning track.
Yeah. Now this one was waving goodbye when it passed the warning track here. 0-1 the count to Prince Fielder. Rangers jumping on top 1-0. Fielder didn't really want to do it. He went around anyway, and it's 0-2. So Adrian Beltre, his first home run of the year, now has 7 runs driven in, and he continues to punish the ball in Coors Field. Outside the fielder. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Rocky Mountain High, boy, it just kept on going, didn't it?
Went all the way to the back of the bullpen. It's probably 30 more feet, so probably about 425.
Call strike 3.
I don't know about that one.
Derwin Danley ringing up strike 3 on Prince Fielder. The Rangers are gone, but Adrian Beltre gets the Rangers on the board with a solo home run. Going to the bottom of the first. Rangers 1, Rockies coming up. First home run of the year gets the Rangers on top 1-0. And we go to the bottom of the first, and here's the Rockies lineup that Robbie Ross Jr. will face. Charlie Blackmon leads off. Drew Stubbs bats second. He's in center. Troy Tulowitzki bats third. Carlos Gonzalez is in left field. Nolan Arenado is the third baseman hitting fifth. Justin Morneau at first. Charlie Culberson to start hitting seventh, playing second base. Jordan Pacheco hits eighth. And Juan Nicasio, the pitcher, bats ninth.
Sonic scouting report for Robbie. He's 1-2, 386 in 6 starts. 1 walk in his last 4 starts. He's walked 9. 6 of them came in his second start of the season in Boston. And he's getting a lot of ground balls, almost 3-to-1 ground ball to fly ball ratio. That's 4th in the American League, and that will serve him well in this ballpark if he's able to do it.
Well, here's Charlie Blackmon, who did not start last night's ball game. He is second in the National League in hitting to teammate Troy Tulowitzki. He's third in the major leagues behind Tulowitzki and Shin-Soo Choo. 6 home runs, 22 driven in. He hits one high and deep to right field. Back at the wall is Rios. That ball is gone. Charlie Blackmon, a leadoff home run, and we are back dead even. It's 1 apiece.
Well, both pitches were kind of up and out over the plate. That one was on the inside half of the plate. Blackmon came into the game hitting .385 against left-handed pitching. Robbie's trying to keep this down and keep it away. Instead, it's right in the middle of the plate on the inside half. And in this ballpark, you just can't afford to make that kind of a mistake against these hitters. That's what can happen.
Well, we'll start again. 1-1 the score now, and Drew Stubbs takes strike 1 from Robbie Ross. Stubbs, a .286 hitter, a home run and 5 driven in. Started last night in right field. Robbie coming in off the plate. Stubbs jackknifing out of the way. Stubbs, a Longhorn X, a home run, 5 driven in, takes low and inside. And the count moves to 2-1.
You know, you could play the Rockies next month or the month after that. You might throw that same pitch and it might be a pop-up or a foul ball. Right now, though, they're hot as a team. They're hot individually. They've got good hitters to begin with. And most of them are just in the kind of groove right now where it puts a lot of pressure on the pitcher. You just can't make mistakes to him, especially playing in this ballpark. It's a tough assignment for any pitcher pitching here.
Yeah, and a lot of times, the top of the lineup, you worry about making a mistake, and there's a swinging strike three, and you give up a base hit or something like that. Well, these guys, you make a mistake, it's going out of the ballpark.
Yeah, Blackman, that's his 7th home run.
We'll take a look at the Ranger defense tonight. It's delivered to you by the New Braunfels Convention and Visitors Bureau. Shin-Soo Choo in left field. Leonis Martin in center. Alex Rios in right. Fielder at first. Donnie Murphy to start at second with Elvis Andrus in short. Adrian Beltre at third. J.P. Arancibia is handling the catching chores here this evening. Donnie Murphy, no errors to his credit. 84 chances this year. And Tulowitzki gets the fastball coming in. Got him on the left thigh. Well, Robbie Ross has only walked one hitter in his last 5 ball games, but he's hit 6. Tulowitzki taking the brunt of that fastball.
He's trying to throw that cutter on the inside corner, and he just hangs on to it too long. And the game where he hit several batters, every one of them was hitting the leg with that same exact pitch. So it's not the first time that pitch has gone too far inside to a right-hand hitter for Robbie. Try to make sure he doesn't leave it out over the plate. He's concentrating on making sure it's inside, and just got it too far inside.
Saw that list now. Robbie Ross, the most hit batsman in the American League, as Carlos Gonzalez takes high and away for ball 1. Gonzalez with a 7-game hitting streak. He has gotten that average now back on the rise. He had struggled for the better part of 3 weeks. Got off to a great start, a 10-game hitting streak, and then really hit the skids. Up the middle, base hit to right center field. Tulowitzki around second, will motor to third. And hanging on with a long single is Carlos Gonzalez. Runners at the corners for Arenado.
How about the only one of their key guys who hasn't been hot really is Gonzalez. He's only hitting .250, but he's hit 6 home runs and knocked in 21 runs.
And Ron Washington going to make a visit to the mound very quickly as you look at Carlos Gonzalez going out and driving that pitch.
Now this is kind of a tough situation, as we mentioned, for a starting pitcher coming in right now in this ballpark, the way they're swinging the bats. And the other side of it is, in the last 10 days, the bullpen has just been used extensively. Nick Martinez threw 40, 45 pitches the last day in Oakland. He's really the long man. Sean Tollison pitched again last night. He pitched a couple innings in Oakland. Jason Frazier threw 30 pitches in last night's game. So really coming into this game, the bullpen is not set up for a short start. So Robbie, I'm sure Wash is telling him, hey, look, just trust your stuff, settle down, keep it down, get that ground ball, get a double play, and let's get back in the dugout.
First pitch to Arenado. The chopper right off his foot. That's a perfect double play ball, but it went off the shoe first.
And the other thing we saw last night is if they see a pitch early in the count, they're going after it.
Yeah.
They're very aggressive early in the count.
And very aggressive fastball early in the count too. Right? They don't let many go by that they see well in a fastball variety.
No.
See why Arenado wears that shin and ankle protector down there. 25-game hitting streak for the young third baseman. Got Tulowitzki at third, Gonzalez at first. 0-1 pitch. Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Arenado, the longest active streak in baseball, the longest streak this year in baseball, and second longest in team history. Michael Cuddyer had a 27-game streak last year. Skied to right field. Rios underneath, makes the catch. Tulowitzki tags, and he will score easily from third. The RBI on the sacrifice fly by Arenado, and the Rockies take a 2-1 lead here in the first inning. Now Robbie Ross will try to keep the damage to a minimum now with Morneau at the plate. One thing about the guys that are left-handed hitters in the lineup for the Rockies, they're not at all opposed to facing left-handed pitchers. Morneau rips one down the right field line, but hooks it foul.
Now, there were plenty of years when we played Minnesota, and you look at Morneau's splits, and he's just as proficient against a lefty as he was against a righty. So, yeah, you're right about that, Buzz.
Yeah, Blackman, who had the leadoff home run, has better numbers against left-handed pitching. And Carlos Gonzalez, as good a hitter as he is, he doesn't care what side you throw from.
Nope.
Throw from both sides, and once if you want to, he wouldn't care. 0-1 pitch. Check swing. Did he go around? Yes, he did. He appealed down to third base umpire Gary Cederstrom. He said, "Yep, that is a strike. It's 0-2."
The pitcher wants it. The hitter doesn't think he swung. Right on the line.
Ross a check at first. And Morneau fouls it away down the left side. Morneau this year against left-handers, to be specific about it, hitting .323 as opposed to .314 against right-handed pitching. Up there now, he's in the hole, however, no balls, 2 strikes. Carlos Gonzalez, the runner at first. Rockies have put a couple on the board to take a 2-1 lead. The other way, and there's Beltre. He's shifted over, but in position to make the grab, and that'll do it. Rockies, however, come up with 2 runs on 2 hits and leave 1. On to the second, 2-1 Colorado. Seats remain for this year's Park Place dealership's Texas Rangers Triple Play that's coming up on Sunday. That's May 18th, and your favorite players will participate in game shows, and you can bid on exclusive Rangers experiences and one-of-a-kind auction items to support the Texas Rangers Baseball Foundation. For information, visit texasrangers.com/triple play. The 2-1 Rockies lead after 1. Coors Field, and Alex Rios will begin things against Juan Nicasio. Rios at .317. He's the team leader with those 17 runs driven in. Has not been a kind road trip to Alex. Takes it outside for ball 1.
Yeah, really hasn't been driving the ball. He's hit a lot of softly hit ground balls, really.
1-0 pitch in the air to center field, drifting back. Drew Stubbs underneath it. 1 gone.
Just a little bit out in front of that one. Otherwise, he's got a shot to shoot one out there where Adrian hit one.
Nicasio gets the first hitter. Now Donnie Murphy will come up.
Ball kind of hung up for Alex. He just got out in front of it, hit a little bit off the end of the bat.
Murphy at 224, a home run, 7 driven in. Getting his 17th start at second base here tonight. And he takes a strike to the outer edge. Donnie's last start was on Sunday in Anaheim. Snapped an 0 for 9 streak with a 2 for 4 afternoon. Takes a strike here, and he's very quickly down on the count, 0-2. Our steel pitch tracker showing you Nicasio working both sides of the plate to Donnie Murphy. Rolled out to second base. Culberson on to first. That is out number 2. Now JP Arancibia will come up.
JP had the big game in Oakland. Been waiting for that one. Had the day off yesterday. Hopefully he jumps right back in today, swinging it like he was in Oakland. Just in Anaheim, I should say. Just missed a grand slam in that ball game.
JP had a 2 for 4 Sunday. First ball swinging. It's chopped foul down the third baseline. That 2 for 4 came on the heels of a 2 for 37 streak. So if you think JP was relieved, you're probably right. He had hit some balls hard that had gone at people, and he finally got balls that could not be caught. One of them out of the yard. 1-1 the count. Nicasio back to the plate. 1-2. That home run that JP had on Sunday was his first since last September. Not the 23rd of September. He went off the White Sox. So it had been a bit of a dry spell for the Ranger backstop. That fisted, a little pop-up foul territory. Morneau going over at the railing, but it's back 3 rows. And we'll come back and try it again.
And the front row says thank you very much for that little carom off your hands. Where do you think Jim Knox is going to show up next?
You know,
out in the rock pile.
I'm
thinking, could he be like at the top of the Rockies sign above the scoreboard, maybe?
Could be. You think?
On that crane out in left field, maybe?
There's a bunch of. I wouldn't put it past him. It's one thing for Knox to do that. You know, he's the one that went up the CN Tower in Toronto and was hanging over.
And he's petrified of heights too. That took some courage.
How would you like to be the photographer that has to go along with him, Jeff Irwin?
Good point.
You know, that poor guy.
Yeah, I'd rather do it than film it, I think.
Knox said,
you got to be in the same spot.
Yeah. Knox just says, hey, come on, you're coming with me. We're going up to here. 3-2, the count to JP Arancibia. Payoff pitch. And that is yanked foul. Saw Elvis Andrus waiting in the on-deck circle. If JP is able to extend this Ranger second, Elvis would have a shot at doing some damage. Nicasio, a long look in. Now the right-hander. To the plate, another 3-2 and another foul ball. You mentioned Nicasio, not much of a mystery at opposing hitters. Just fastball, slider, an occasional changeup, but mostly he's coming right at you. If he's able to move the ball around in the strike zone, he's going to be effective. The ninth pitch of the at-bat is on the way, and there's a towering drive to left field. Going back as Gonzalez, he is at the wall. He leaps up and makes the catch. Carlos Gonzalez going up over the wall, and they robbed Arancibia again. What about that? Well, the Rangers gone in order, And after 1.5, it remains the Rockies 2 and the Rangers 1 on Fox Sports Southwest. The burning question in everybody's mind, they have to have answered, is where is Jim Knox?
All right, Buzz and Tom, here we are right behind the Rockies clubhouse. And here it is, Tom. You've been talking about it all game yesterday, the humidor. It's the huge humidifier right here. And I tell you what, we flip the lights on, and all we have is a ton of baseballs. And they say the umpires come here right before the game starts, grab 6 dozen baseballs, get ready for the game. This keeps the moisture back in the baseball. In the olden days, they said without the humidor, when the baseballs come off the bats, it sounded like a gunshot, but not anymore. Do have some paperwork here. Oh, do not open door. Uh-oh. Could be a problem here with the baseballs. Maybe flying a little bit too far tonight. Buzz?
Knox, you're going to have the pitchers all ganging up on you.
I had no idea what the humidor looked like.
I didn't either.
Glad he did that for us.
I was thinking about one of those little round things he put cigars in on the table.
Yeah, just a giant one to flip baseballs in.
Charlie Culberson leading off. He's the number 7 hitter in the Rockies order of things tonight. 156 the average. The home run, 5 driven in for Culberson. And a chopper foul down to Eric Young, first base coach, former Ranger. Iwa handling the chores down at first for the Rockies. There he is. Still 0-2. Bottom third of the Rocky order, facing Robbie Ross here in the second inning. That pitch low and outside. A ball and 2 strikes. Robbie had to use 17 pitches to extricate himself from the first inning. Gave up the leadoff home run to Blackman, then sacrifice fly by Arenado, scoring Troy Tulowitzki with the go-ahead run. 1-2 pitch. 2-2. Culberson, a utility type, super utility type player. Tapper out near the mound. Ross on to fielder. He is out number 1. Folks, it's time for you to tweet your photo to us. We have a chance to have it shown on an upcoming broadcast, all thanks to the folks at AT&T. Simply use hashtag SouthwestFanPhoto, and your photo might be selected to be aired during a broadcast this year. We'll show you our selection from our fan photo gallery as the game goes on later this evening. Here's the number 8 hitter, Jordan Pacheco, the catcher. Takes high for ball 1. Pacheco, a 250 hitter. Normally the backup catcher, but as we explained last night, Willeen Rosario had to go on the disabled list. He had a hand problem, but also recovering from a virus, a nasty virus that had been circulating in the Rockies clubhouse. So to make sure that everything healed and he got well, they had to put him on the disabled list. And that pitch is high, is 3 balls and no strikes. Pacheco, the number 8 hitter, to be followed by the pitcher, Juan Nicasio. Robbie Ross would like to make Pacheco swing the bat. 3-1. Pacheco an 0 for 4 last night. Had a little more trouble with left-handers this year than right-handers, hitting just 154 against southpaws. 296 against right-handers. And a chopper foul, so Robbie's come all the way back from 3-0 to fill the count out. Robbie with that 3.86 ERA coming in, 1-2 with the record. Trying to right the ship after a rocky first inning. No pun intended. And the pitch is high, ball 4. Pacheco draws the 1-out walk, and now Nicasio coming up.
Robbie had that long streak without a walk, and after walking 6 in that second game against the Red Sox, he'd only had 3 other walks all season long.
Juan Nicasio has a 1 hit this year in 12 trips to the plate, but it's 3 RBI also. He's going to be asked about here. Coming down is Beltre is popped up, and Adrian will take that in foul territory, and Nicasio can't get the job done.
Yeah, the good thing is it only took 1 pitch for Robbie to take care of that. Let's see if he can make a better pitch to Charlie Blackmon. Blackmon, the first time up, got a couple of belt-high pitches. And Robbie, trying to throw his cutter down and away to him, ended up getting it in the middle of the plate. See Beltre charging in, not charging in, but moving in. He wants to catch that ball on the ground and have a chance to make the play at second base.
2 outs. Blackmon with his 7th home run of the year leading off.
There's where he was trying to throw it the first time.
Exactly.
He might hit that ball to left field, but he's not going to hit it 400 feet to right field, I don't think.
Well, if he does, he might be playing in the wrong league.
Well,
gotta go to the next one higher.
Yeah.
0-1 pitch. Is slapped out to short. Elvis gets rid of it in a hurry, and Blackmon retired. No, good job by Robbie Ross coming back from the walk. The Rockies stranded runner. We're going to the 3rd. The Rockies 2, the Rangers 1 on Fox Sports Southwest. TV Premium, as the #1 live streaming sports service, is celebrating 12 years. Join the millions of subscribers and watch every out-of-market game live in true HD on over 400 devices. Just visit TexasRangers.com for more details. Elvis Andrus to start things off here in the Ranger third. Texas trailing 2-1. Young lady having a great time sitting on Mom's lap.
Yeah. Very captivated by the concessionaire.
Promise of food does a lot for you. Elvis batting at 221. The first pitch to him is a fastball right through there for strike one. Andrus for the third day now batting somewhere other than the #2 spot. Washington said he doesn't really know how long that's going to last, just until he sees Elvis getting more comfortable at the plate. Tulowitzki takes care of the ground ball from his counterpart. That is one away.
Now, Wash knows the lineup works the best with Elvis playing well, swinging well, and batting second. That's when it works the best. And it's just a matter of Elvis getting things straightened out. Remember last year was kind of the same thing. Slow going this time of year. Hopefully it kicks in for Elvis quicker than the All-Star break. Last year was after the All-Star break where he hit 300. And there's some streaks in between the beginning of the season and the All-Star break. But not the consistency that he showed after the All-Star break.
Robbie Ross up there, and watching Robbie take some BP along with the rest of the pitchers, he knows what to do. He's got a pretty good swing. 0 for 2 in a career.
He's facing a good guy because he's not going to get tricked by a changeup or a splitter or something like that. So if you can time it and you have some hitting ability, you should be able to put the ball in play anyway.
Takes a strike, 2-1. And Ocasio's not going to beat you up with 96 or 97. So it's very hittable. That's on the outside corner. That may not be hittable out there.
Yeah, that may not have been a strike either. I don't think that one that struck out fielder was a strike.
No.
Well, it was a strike. I take that back. Sorry, Kerwin.
Robbie spoiling that pitch down and away.
We second guess the umpires enough when we are the ones that make a mistake. We have to let the umpire know that he made the right call. So sorry, Kerwin. I have a shot to get back at you before the game's over.
No doubt. Robbie doing his part to keep the game moving along. Payoff pitch is high, ball 4. And Nicasio must have had the same scouting report that I did on Robbie. He knows
Keep it away from him.
Yeah.
Be careful.
Yeah, be careful with it.
I'm sure you've had plenty of at-bats where you said to yourself, I don't care what I do, I'll throw it 80 miles an hour right down the middle of the plate. I can't walk this guy, and you end up not being able to throw a strike.
Exactly. And what was more of a deterrent was that when pitchers were hitting before the DH, we'd get fined if we walked the opposing pitcher. Yeah, so
that'd be in the back of your mind.
Yeah, I started thinking, that's $10 out of my pocket if I walk this guy, and that made it worse.
Don't walk him. And all your brain hears is walk him.
Yep, that's exactly right. Robbie at first in a very mild night. No jacket needed for Ross. Shin-Soo Choo, a ground ball to second, his first time up there. Nicasio to the plate. And the pitch up and in for ball 1. Choo last night on base 3 of the 4 times that he came to the plate. He had 2 hits, also had a walk. He's had 5 walks on this trip, along with 9 hits. That's very high. It's 2-0. Shin-Soo has gotten to the point where he's up among the league leaders in walks. The American League, he's got 21 of them. Two 2-0 the count. Choo hitting with Ross at first base. Rangers trying to get back at least even with the Rockies. They trail 2-1. Next pitch from Nicasio. Little looper down the left field side. Gonzalez coming in a hurry. He dives. He can't get it. It's off his glove. It stays right underneath him. And Robbie Ross going to second is going to hang on there.
Well, that's one of those bloopers they talk about, that because the outfielders play a little deeper here, because of how big the ballpark is, that type of a ball has a tendency to fall in. That looked like a pretty catchable ball. Not a simple ball to catch, but with his athletic ability, it looked like a ball he might be able to get to and catch. He just missed it. He was going to maybe take a dive, maybe could have caught it right down near the bottom of his pants by not diving. In any event, I think if he watched the replay, he'd say that's a ball he probably should catch.
So first and second with one out. Leonis Martin at the plate now. The Rangers, for the first time tonight, have a runner in scoring position. And Leonis, one of the best in the American League in these situations. Hitting .370 this year. First pitch to him. Outside for ball one. Martin, 10th in the American League against right-handed pitching at .324. You see the average with runners in scoring position. He fouls that next pitch back. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well, he'd love to have a nice big inning started by a walk to the pitcher.
Yeah. Yep.
Rangers, Martin's been hitting with men in scoring position. Then you've got Beltre and Fielder coming up, so it has some potential to it this inning.
1-1 pitch from Nicasio. Now ball to the right side. To second, they get the sliding chew just by a hair.
That's a nice place by Culberson. The easy play would have been to say, the heck with the runner ahead, go get the out at first base, but he went for the tough out at second and made the play.
So runners at the corners with 2 outs. Beltre coming up. Let's take time for a Mazda game break with Dana Larson. Dana? All right, Dana, thank you. Dodgers, I know, happy to have Kershaw back. There goes Martin. The pitch is rifled to third and picked by Arenado. On across the diamond, and that will do it. Beltre could not hit it much harder, but Arenado showing you some gold glove form as he picked it clean. Rangers strand 2 on a hit and a walk. 2-1, Rockies. Southwest. is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com. A great look at the vista off to the west of Coors Field, the Rocky Mountains. Still snow-covered. Very comfortable down here, however, in Denver at 72 degrees at game time, and a very, very light breeze is drifting in from center field. Robbie Ross back to the hill. We'll see what being on the base paths might have done to Robbie. He didn't have a chance to go back in and sit down. He finished the inning, last half inning, at third. We'll see if that takes anything out of the youngster or not. Ross here in the third inning will face Stubbs, Tulowitzki, and Gonzalez. First three Rockies due up. Drew Stubbs a strikeout back in the first inning. I mentioned Stubbs getting the start in right field last night, and tonight moving over to center field. 281 is average at the moment. First pitch is chopped over the mound, and Elvis kind of screened out by Donnie Murphy, but Murphy was probably the only one that had a chance to make a throw, and that was doubtful. Got by him, and then Elvis couldn't find the handle, but Drew Stubbs with pretty good speed able to leg it out.
I thought maybe if Donnie wasn't there, Elvis could have come in and maybe had a better chance to throw it going toward first than Donnie might have had going toward shortstop. One of those kind of in-between balls.
Well, that is the third hit of the night for the Rockies against Robbie Ross. Troy Tulowitzki was hit by a pitch. First time he faced Robbie, and came around to score. The sacrifice fly by Arenado. Tulowitzki back in. And a snap throw to drive Stubbs back. We'll take a look at the Ford leaderboard tonight. Shows you the Major League leaders all time for home batting average. How about hitting 120 points higher than Rogers Hornsby? That's where Troy Tulowitzki is right now. It's a pretty exclusive group. George Sisler, Hornsby a couple of times. Anytime you get your name mentioned with those names, you're doing something right. Tulowitzki, the American or the National League April Player of the Month, takes a strike on the inside corner after being hit the first time. He was kind of backing away in case that ball continued to cut in on him. 1-1 the count. Season average of 408, 9 home runs, 2 of them coming last night, 29 RBI. He's got Stubbs at first, nobody out here in the bottom of the third inning. There goes Stubbs, and the pitch is dropped by Aaron Sebia. So Stubbs will be at second with the stolen base.
Stubbs, as a center fielder, has good speed. I mentioned yesterday that over the last 4 years, he's averaged about 30 stolen bases a season. So he has good speed. He's a good base runner, good base stealer. Biggest problem he's had is getting on base. If he could get on base 35 or 36% of the time, he'd steal 50 bases.
Saw in that replay that Aaron Sebia really didn't have much of a chance to do anything with that pitch. Kind of short hopping. Tulowitzki, a looping liner to right center. It's in for a base hit. Stubbs had to wait to make sure it got over the leap of Donnie Murphy. So first and third now with nobody out, and Carlos Gonzalez coming up.
Tulowitzki was making a conscious effort to hit the ball to the right side. Got jammed a little bit, but still fared pretty well when this ball goes over Donnie's head. It's a good pitch, cut fastball, got in on his fist a little bit. He was making the effort to get the runner over, and unfortunately for the Rangers, it went over Donnie's head instead of right at him.
The 4 hits now for the Rockies. Runners at the corners. Carlos Gonzalez had a single back in the first inning. Gonzalez extending his hitting streak now to 8 straight. A batting mark at 256 and creeping up. Ross, a check of the runners. The pitch is low for ball 1. For the Ranger defense, they are shifted around to the right with Gonzalez at plate in the infield. The outfield shifted the other way. This is an alignment you see quite frequently, especially with left-handed hitters, where the infield shifted one way, the outfield just the opposite. That pitch is high. It's 2-0. Gonzalez 2 for 5 yesterday. Ross okays the sign. The 2-0 pitch. A little flare out on the left. That is trouble. It's going to drop in front of Jude. Coming down the line is Stubbs. He will score. As Carlos Gonzalez gets his second base hit of the night, driving in his 22nd run of the year, and the Rockies have a 3-1 lead.
That's why baseball could be a frustrating game. You look at these 3 hits. A dribbler that would barely have rolled into center field. A little jam shot that blooped over second. A pop-up between shortstop and left field. All 3 of those hits. And then you look back to the last out of the last inning when Beltre's hitting with a couple of men on base. And he hit that rocket that one-hopped Arenado and caught it and threw him out at first base. Not how hard you hit him, it's where you hit him.
Yeah.
They're finding holes in this inning.
Mike Maddox out to talk to Ross and Aaron Seavey. They're joined by the home plate umpire, Kerwin Danley, to see if he can't throw in his 2 cents worth.
You know, when you're hot, you're hitting 344, 345 in this ballpark. When you're hot, you hit them hard, they fall in. You don't hit them hard, they still fall in.
Yeah.
They're in one of those grooves right now. One of those hot streaks. Averaging 7.5 runs per game in this park.
The 3 consecutive singles. Now Tulowitzki at second, Gonzalez at first, and Nolan Arenado, who had a sacrifice fly in the first, stands at the plate. He had a rip at that first delivery that was up a little bit from Robbie Ross.
We mentioned this already in the game, but he's definitely one of those guys. I wouldn't throw him a belt-high fastball on the first pitch. Lucky he fouled that one off.
Arenado 6 home runs, 22 driven in. Ross with the 0-1 pitch. Could be 2. Beltre steps on the bag at third across the diamond, and the tag is made by Fielder, and the double play takes 2 runners off the base pad. Nice play by Adrian Beltre, who had a decision to make, and he made it very quickly.
A good pitch by Robbie. Another good pitch. He's made a lot of good pitches this inning. The one he threw to Tulowitzki was in on his fist, too. Tulowitzki blooped it over second. This time he gets that ball up and in, off the plate, and got it right in on his fist. Nice, easy play for Adrian, who goes over and touches the bag, and Prince makes the tag. Big pitch for Robbie. 2 quick outs for the Rangers. And I guess you can get out of this inning with only 1 run scoring. You feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, Rangers best in the American League at turning double plays. That's their 39th. But now with Gonzalez at second with 2 outs, Justin Morneau goes after that first pitch and grounds it behind the bag at third. Beltre off balance throw and right in line with Prince Fielder. What a play by Beltre. Very quickly he takes care of all 3 outs. Rockies get a run on 3 hits and strand 1. On to the 4th, 3-1 Colorado.
Cowboy hats. I get a little skittish. Here's the reason why. The last time I was here in Colorado, had a friendly run with Ralphie the Buffalo. Then out of nowhere, a guy with a Cowboy hat just cheap shot me. Still trying to find this guy. It's not this guy tonight, but we had a lot of fun. It's been fun here, but I did bring some beef back, a couple of Ranger fans, just in case I run across that Cowboy. I got it covered tonight. You check out okay, big guy. We'll see you later.
Man, that might have been the cheap shot of all time right there. How'd you get up from that, Noxie?
Oh, man, I just can't believe it. I'm still looking for that guy. Getting a little flashbacks here, you know.
Noxie, you got to watch out for those crackback blocks.
I know it.
Yeah, man.
That guy weighed about 250, too. Hope that big guy felt good after that. Nice block, you jerk.
Exactly.
We're all looking for him now, Noxie.
Thanks, Tom. I'll send them your way if I find them.
No, don't do that.
No, I won't. I'll send them these guys' way right here. We got
I'm just going to try to find them for you.
Should have heard what this guy said about you. Prince Fielder leading off ahead in the count now. 2 balls, no strikes. Rangers trailing by a couple. And Fielder a rip and a foul tip into the glove of Pacheco. Prince called out on strikes in the first. A 6-game hitting streak coming into play tonight. He's been a .364 hitter over the last week. 2-1 pitch. And 3-1 the count. Well, Fielder trying to get aboard to start the Ranger fourth. He'll be followed by the right fielder, Alex Rios. Rockies 3 runs on 5 hits. Rangers 1 run on 2 hits. That run coming for the Rangers on Adrian Beltre's home run in the first inning. Inside, ball 4. Ocasio not showing a whole lot of interest in giving Prince Fielder much to work with. Well, the leadoff walk, and that makes Alex Rios the tying run coming to the plate here in the 4th inning. Jim Wright, the pitching coach, heading out there to the mound to talk to Nicasio and to Pacheco. Well, we have a moment. I'd like to remind you that Major League Baseball, People Magazine, and Target are looking for outstanding teachers in your community. 30 teachers will be celebrated at the 2014 All-Star Game. That's coming up on July 15th on Fox. Log on to allstarteachers.com to nominate your favorite teacher today. And today is the last day, so you got to do it this evening. Well, that conference concluded. Jim Wright going out there to deliver a message to Juan Nicasio. Fielder at first. Nobody out. Alex Rios a fly ball to center as he led off the 2nd inning. Rios now hitting at .315, and he takes very high for ball 1. Rios 5 for 18 on this trip. Compared to what he had been doing, that's pretty much of a downturn. There's a breaking ball that settles in for a strike. It's 1-1. Back over the last 17 games, Alex Rios has been a .353 hitter. 1-1 pitch to him. Now 2-1. Last graphic we showed you, 24 of the 40 hits that Rios has had this year have come with runners on base. Fielder a modest lead at first. Nicasio will check him. Rios waiting. Slice to right field in a hurry is Blackman. He makes the running catch. Fielder caught off, and the throw is short hop by Morneau for the double play. Now Prince read it one way and it went the other. And the 9-3 double play removes Fielder.
I have to admit, off the bat, I thought that ball was going to fall in too. It just seemed to carry further than it looked like off the bat. Off the bat, it looked like it was going to fall right behind first base. But it carried pretty well out there. Well enough for Blackman to get to it and make a nice play. Morneau finishing it off with a nice play.
Yeah, I'm with you, Tom. I thought that was going to fall in too when it left. Blackman read it pretty well, though.
Yep.
Give him that. So base is empty now, 2 away for Donnie Murphy. Blackman out in right field. He is having some kind of a year, defensively and offensively. Murphy fouls it back to the screen. 1 ball, 1 strike. Donnie, a ground ball to his counterpart, Charlie Culberson, the second baseman, his first time to the plate. 221 the average. Nicasio now able to work from the windup with the bases empty. And this is up and in. 2-1. Murphy 2 out of 9 on this trip. He and Josh Wilson splitting time almost evenly. And the pitch is high, 3-1. Nicasio trying to give the Rangers some base runners. Murphy trying to get aboard to extend the inning. J.P. Arancibia waiting in the on-deck circle. Nicasio with his 60th pitch of the night. And it's popped up. Morneau looking up into the twilight. That ball is going to be just over the Rockies dugout into the first row. The count has filled now to Donnie Murphy. Nicasio, the 27-year-old right-hander, making his way back to the top of the mound. Originally signed with the Rockies in 2006, an undrafted free agent. Payoff pitch on the way. Check swing, and ball 4. Looked like Kerwin Danley was getting ready to run that right hand up.
I thought he was.
Second walk of the inning given by Nicasio. And J.P. Arancibia coming up.
Well, JP had a good at bat his first time up. He saw a bunch of pitches, took a lot of good swings, and just missed a home run. Gonzalez caught it right at the wall. That's what the Rangers could use right now. One swing of the bat.
They could
tie this ball game.
They could. And a breaking ball. Nicasio not throwing that first pitch fastball to Arancibia. Right-hander, a belt-high set. JP hits one right off the end of the bat that dribbles over toward the Rockies dugout. 0-2, now the count. Arancibia making his 15th start of the year behind the plate. This is the Rangers' 33rd game of the year. There's a multiple hit game coming on Sunday against the Angels for JP since last August. Down on the count here, no balls and 2 strikes to Nicasio. Murphy draws a throw from the big right-hander. Back with a dive. Arancibia back in. Nicasio will take the signs from Pacheco. 0-2 pitch. 1-2 the count. Arancibia with the Toronto Blue Jays. Good power numbers. Batting average continued to give him some problems at 194 last year, but better than 20 home runs. It's the pitch outside. It's 2-2 now.
Coming into the game, Nicasio had only walked 8 guys. Walked three of them tonight to this inning. They say he tends to throw a lot of pitches because he throws a lot of fastballs. He doesn't fool a lot of hitters, but he's got good movement, and they foul a lot of pitches off, which on occasion can get his pitch count up there. But he's thrown a lot of balls. Not a good strike-to-ball ratio today.
Arancibia able to fight that pitch off foul. Still 2-2. Yeah, when stuff like his where he doesn't, I mean, it's not eye-popping stuff, but it's certainly good enough, obviously, for him to be, competent major league pitcher, but not having an overpowering fastball or good moving fastball or a sharp or slow breaking ball, he get a lot of swings and misses.
No.
Pitch range at 95, that might be going downhill with the wind. Not sure he can top that anymore. Ready for another 2-2 pitch. And popped up to right. Blackman coming on, the ball hanging up for him. And that will do it. So the Rangers get a couple of walks in the inning, do not score. They strand a runner. After 3.5, it's the Rockies 3, the Rangers 1 on Fox Sports Southwest. Morning at 10 o'clock right here on Fox Sports Southwest, where it's not about the score, it's about the experience. Ranger fans having a good experience here in Denver at Coors Field. Very comfortable evening with very light breezes, cloud cover. Kept the direct sun off this afternoon. Robbie Ross back to the hill. Rangers trailing 3-1, and Ross will face the bottom third of the Rockies order here in the fourth inning. It'll be Charlie Culberson, Jordan Pacheco, and Juan Nicasio. Ross gave up 2 runs in the first, 1 run in the third. Robbie trying to keep this at a 2-run deficit for the Rangers. Robbie, the 24-year-old Kentuckian. The ball from Beltre, heads back to the top of the hill, and he will face Culberson, who tapped right back to the box his first time up there. Culberson at 152 now with the average. He was recalled from Colorado Springs, a AAA affiliate of the Rockies, when Michael Kadire had to go on the disabled list. Kadire going down with a hamstring. He's just now starting to round back into shape, so the one thing you'd be thankful for with this Rocky team is Kadire wasn't healthy to get in the middle of the rest of those guys in that lineup. Pitch inside, it's 1-1. Kadire, the National League leader last year in hitting. Ross to the line, the 1-1 pitch. Chopper to third, Beltre waits for a good hop. Across the fielder, Culberson is retired, 1 away. Adrian Beltre has had something to do with the last 3 ground balls.
Yeah. Now he's making some pretty good pitches now. He gave up the run the last inning, but 3 scratch hits caused that run to score, and then he pitched out of a jam. I'm not hitting the ball all that hard off him right now. Hopefully keep making these pitches and give the Rangers a chance to come back and score some runs and get back in the ball game. very doable at this stage of the game.
Here's the catcher, Jordan Pacheco. Pacheco walked first time, and he scalds one right down the line. It's a fair ball by Beltre. It's headed toward the corner. Into the corner goes Chu to dig it out. Pacheco a turn at second, but he will hang on with a one-out double. He got the ground ball, but unfortunately it was between Beltre and the bag, and Adrian couldn't get to it.
Another instance of a Rocky going up there and hitting the first pitch he saw, like a fastball in the inside part of the plate. He was able to pull it. That's where you see the big difference in this ballpark. The ball hit right down the line. Instead of being 330 feet, it's 20 feet farther for that ball to roll. And guys with really good speed can turn a double into a triple. Not quite as much to left field as to right field.
Nicasio stings it, lines it right to Alex Rios in right field. And Pacheco had to stay put at second base. Nicasio.
Well, they didn't like his bunt attempt last time, so they let him swing.
He lines out sharply. There are two gone now, back to the top of the Rockies order for Charlie Blackmon. Yeah, the dimensions in this ballpark, at least down the lines, kind of remind you of Arizona, where any ball in the corner is at least two bases, if not three.
Yeah, it's very hard to hold a guy at first to third base to keep him from scoring on a ball hit right down the line, too. Double is, and maybe a triple is going to score him from first almost every time, unless it's a slow runner.
Charlie Blackmon homered to lead off the game for the Rockies. That's his second career leadoff home run. First one came last September, and he fouls off that first pitch. Last time up, Blackmon tapped out to short.
Blackmon is 27 years old. He was a second-round draft choice out of Georgia Tech, so he's a very good college player. And he's always hit in the minor leagues. Probably averaged 9 or 10 home runs a year. This is the first year he's really shown some signs of hitting with power. And already this season he's hit 7 home runs.
Got Pacheco at second with 2 outs here in the 4th inning.
That's better. Keep the ball away from him.
Elvis takes care of it. A good job by Robbie Ross to work around the Pacheco double. Rockies strand their 4th runner of the night. We're going to the 5th. Colorado 3, Texas 1. Will continue this series tomorrow night at Globe Life Park, the first of 2 at home. Jorge De La Rosa on the hill for the Rockies. Kobe Lewis for the Rangers. And Boston comes in over Mother's Day weekend. Quick trip down to Houston. And Toronto and Seattle come in for the last homestand of the month of May. That series with Boston, by the way, less than 2,000 or fewer than 2,000 seats remaining for Friday. Saturday night, just scattered singles and assorted. Well, they're going to start selling. I tell you about. They're going to start selling standing room only tickets for Saturday night. Sunday, fewer than 8,000 tickets remaining. Get yours and come on out. Spend Mother's Day afternoon with the Rangers at Globe Life Park. Elvis Andrus starting things off. And takes a breaking ball that dips in for strike one. Elvis, a ground ball to short. His first time to the plate. Nicasio to the line. And Elvis out in front of that off-speed pitch. It is 0-2.
He throws a lot of fastballs, so when he does throw an off-speed pitch, if he makes a good pitch with it, probably will have some pretty good success with it. Hitters have to go up looking for a fastball every pitch against him.
Pacheco out to talk to him, and Elvis doing some adjustment on the batting gloves. Down in the count, no balls, 2 strikes. Elvis 2 for his last 8 times he played. And you know the kind of drought he had been in. He was 2 for 27 prior to that. Inside, 1-2 now. Rangers just 2 hits tonight. Adrian Beltre's home run in the first. And Shin-Soo Choo's looping single in the 3rd inning. The count evens now to Andrus. Trying to get a good pitch to work with here, leading off the Ranger 5th. Inside, the count has gone full. Well, was able to work it back from an 0-2 deficit to a full count. Trying to get aboard Robbie Ross Jr., the Ranger hurler in the on-deck circle. Payoff pitch on the way. Line drive to right, going back is the second baseman Culberson to make the catch. And that is out number 1. Like a little bit of a jam shot. Elvis not quite able to get it over the second baseman's head.
Now, he hit that ball similar to the way Tulowitzki hit his little blooper with a man on second base. Tulowitzki's a little bit stronger, and he was able to muscle it over second.
And Robbie Ross, first ball swinging to Culberson. Ross getting down there in a hurry, and he beats it out. Culberson figured, well, that's the pitcher running, and Robbie Ross said,
Attaboy, Robbie.
Probably an infield single.
There's no way he thought he was going to beat that ball out when he fielded it. Had a little trouble fielding it. And it's going to be a questionable play. It's a very close play from up here. It looked like the throw might have nipped him. Walt Weiss is going to go out and let their experts in the back room decide whether he beat it out or not.
Yeah,
Lance Barksdale thought he did.
Say Lance Barksdale making a very emphatic call. You know, that is going to be challenged. And Lance Barksdale and the crew chief, Gary Cederstrom, will go over and get the headsets on and confer with the replay center in New York, see what they come up with. I agree with you, Tom. I'm looking at that replay, the second replay angle. Looked like he probably got it.
Yeah, I thought from up here he did.
Ron Washington last night had one overturned in his favor.
Fans think he did.
Yeah. Crowd here at Coors Field getting a look on it on Rocky Vision out in left field. They thought that the out should be recorded. But Cederstrom and Barksdale listening to the discussion going on from New York. They'll give us the ruling. It has to be clear and convincing evidence to overturn the call. The call is safe right now. And, Gary Cederstrom, kind of a wry smile on his face. I don't know if they're telling him jokes from New York or what's going on. Everybody's standing around though and watching the replays that are up on the scoreboard. All the players are. You got 4 guys huddled right behind the mound, and now we'll get the call from Gary Cederstrom, the crew chief. And Lance Barksdale, the first baseman, he's going to be out. So the call is overturned by the replay center in New York. Robbie Ross is retired. There are 2 gone.
Watch the ball go in the glove just a little bit before, 3 or 4 inches before the foot hit the bag.
So 2 outs now, bases empty. Shin-Soo Choo for his 3rd at bat of the evening. He is 1 for 2 and takes outside the off-speed pitch. Stayed wide of the mark. That replay review, by the way, took 1 minute and 35 seconds. 1-0 pitch. 1-1.
And a changeup. Didn't throw many of those, but that was effective.
Nicasio back to the plate, high and tight. Choo having to wheel out of the way of that fastball. 2-1. Choo will remind you, 26 times last year he was plunked by a pitch, or the National League with Cincinnati. He's no stranger to having pitches close to him. Takes the next pitch a bit low, and it's 3 balls and a strike. So Choo trying to extend this Ranger 5th inning. If he gets aboard, Leonis Martin would be next to hit. Nicasio with a 3-1 offering. It's high, ball 4. Choo continuing to find a way to get on base. Base hit, a walk. He is over there again now with 2 outs, and Martin coming up.
He's still talking about that one. He definitely got down the line faster than I thought he could.
He sure did.
Runs pretty well. And he doesn't really look like a pitcher swinging the bat either. Somewhere between a really good hitter and a pitcher. It looked like he could be a minor league hitter. Maybe.
That's as close to a compliment.
Yeah, that's a compliment.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, if you grade on the curve, he's near the top.
First pitch to Leonis is a fastball, strike, 0-1. Martin is flied to center and reached on a fielder's choice.
And as the scouts would say, he has deceptive speed.
Yep, that he does. Charlie Culberson would agree with him.
Yeah.
Deceptive.
He's glad that was overturned.
The bad part was Robbie didn't get his first major league hit. Snap throw to first, and Choo, with the headlong dive, has to get back in. Martin with the average at 286. Trying to get something going here with 2 outs for the Rangers. Rangers haven't had a good 2-out rally in a while. Let's see if they can do it here. Going outside, the count evens at 1 ball and 1 strike. Martin against righties, a 324 average. Not so much against lefties. But he's facing right-hander Juan Nicasio here. Nicasio, a belt high set. And the pitch is high and away. 2-1. That scouting report you had, Tom, on Nicasio is very true. He's thrown a lot of pitches in the last couple of innings in particular. Choo stepping off his lead at first. Nicasio gets the sign. The pitch high and away. It's 3-1. Rangers trying to make some 2-out noise here. If Martin is able to get aboard, Adrian Beltre will be the next hitter.
We mentioned that Nicasio is coming off a game against the Mets, where he pitched 7 innings, gave up 3 hits, no runs, and only 1 walk. Coming into the game, he'd walked 8. He's walked 4 so far in this game, and make it 5.
Make it 5 as a pair of 2-out walks put 2 aboard for Beltre, who has scalded the baseball both times up there.
If you're Walt Weiss, this is about the last thing you wanted to see. 2 outs, nobody on, 2 walks, and Beltre coming up.
Exactly. Budweiser pitching line on Juan Nicasio tonight. 4 2/3. Just 2 hits, 1 run, 5 walks though, and that's been the big thing. And Jim Wright, the pitching coach, out there to see if he can't get Nicasio back in the strike zone.
And last time Adrian was up, it was men on first and third in 2 outs, and he hit the ball as hard as he could possibly hit it in 1 hop, and Arenado picked it at third base and obviously threw him out easily at first base.
And show you our Jimmy John's freaky fast delivery the first time that Adrian Beltre faced Nicasio tonight. First home run of the year. That got out of here freaky fast, way to the back of the Ranger bullpen. Jimmy John's showing you that Beltre blast. No, set to go now. Runners at first and second, 2 outs. Nicasio, a check of Chu at second. Drops in the breaking ball for strike 1. Adrian, a home run, 7 RBI. Batting average now at .275. Beltre now 6 out of 18 on the trip. He's gotten things going. He has driven in a couple. He's got a couple more teammates out there with Chu at second, Martin at first. See if he can't pick them up. Had a rip at that fastball. And he's down in an 0-2 hole now. Career average starting today at Coors Field. Adrian Beltre at .401. Jeffrey Hammonds, Larry Walker, who played his career here, .381 hitter in his home park. 0-2 the count. Nicasio picks out a pitch. He's ready to go. In the dirt, Pacheco, a nice job of keeping that ball near home plate. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
We mentioned that Pacheco had been a third baseman. And he's pretty much catching now. He's not going to get much chance to play third base now with Arenado established over there right off the bat.
Arenado, one of only 2 rookies to ever win the Gold Glove. Back Frank Malzone, the other in Boston, back when he was first awarded, 1957. He had a Gold Glove in a 25-game hitting streak. He got a chance of being there for a while. Beltre, a slow tapper, charging Arenado, off-balance throw, and he got it. What a play by the young third baseman. Beltre out, Rangers are gone. The 2 walks left stranded. Halfway through the game, the Rockies 3, the Rangers 1 on Fox Sports Southwest. Family outings to Globe Life Park this season. Here's how you can do it. Coca-Cola family packs include 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, 4 Coke soft drinks, 2 kids-owned wristbands, and 1 souvenir program. They're available for $68 in the upper reserve seating or $112 in lower reserve seating. Get yours at TexasRangers.com/specials, or you can call 972-RANGERS to reserve yours.
Boy, it's a small world. Walker Stapleton just came into our booth. Walker was the son of Craig Stapleton, who was one of the Ranger owners when Rusty Rose and George Bush and Tom Schieffer and that whole group owned the Rangers. Bob Castellini was one of the owners back then. He owns the Cincinnati Reds right now. Bill DeWitt was one of the owners. He owns the St. Louis Cardinals right now. Anyway, Walker was about 13 years old. I can remember it. Last time I remember him, he was a bat boy in Port Charlotte for our team. He's the Colorado treasurer now. He says he's thinking about running for governor of
Holy
Colorado.
cow.
So, well, you know some people that can give you some pretty good pointers.
Yep, I would think so.
Wow.
Oh, that's great. Ross's pitch, line to right field. Rios out there, and he can't get it with a leap. It's off the tip of his glove. Drew Stubbs into second with a leadoff double. Now, Alex almost got there, and he leaped and used his long arms as best he could, and just came up short.
Well, Stubbs has hit some balls hard in this series. 1 to left center, 1 to right center, and now 1 right down the right field line. Alex gets to it, but the ball hits right off the top of his glove. He needed about another 6 inches, and he would have been able to catch that ball in the fingers of his glove, but couldn't quite get the glove on the ball. Good part of the glove on the ball. And Stubbs starts out on second base, nobody out in the 5th. He started a rally in the 3rd inning with an infield hit.
Oh, a double for Stubbs, 2 for 3 now, and Troy Tulowitzki up there, hit by a pitch and singled, 1 for 1. Batting average now at .413. Robbie Ross starts him off with an off-speed delivery that stays high and away for ball 1. Tulowitzki, 9 home runs, 29 RBI, as Stubbs at second base after a leadoff double. It's the second 2-bagger accumulated by the Rockies tonight, who had 7 last night. That pitch down and in, it's 2-0. Runners in scoring position, the Rockies hitting just a little bit better than their overall average. Overall at 300, with runners in scoring position, 304. The 2-0 pitch. Like Tulowitzki was taken all the way, and it's 2-1. Tulowitzki, the major league leader in almost every major offensive category, except for RBI. And in the National League, trailing in home runs also. And that off-speed pitch, and Aaron Sebe got crossed up. Fortunately, he got crossed up from looking for a fastball and getting a breaking ball instead of the other way around.
The other way around, he probably got a man on third base.
Yeah. JP leaping up is thinking that, well, that's a fastball. That's going to backstop. Tulowitzki now with a 3-1 count. I think the idea of just trying to hit the ball to the right side has probably left his mind for this next pitch. Ross to the plate. Line drive, base hit to center field. Stubbs had to go back to second. He was afraid that ball not only might hit him, but might get picked off by Andrews. But Tulowitzki, his second hit of the night, and very much like the 3rd inning, runners at first and third, nobody out for Carlos Gonzalez.
Tulowitzki at the plate, about the only thing you can hope is that he hits it at somebody. He's going to hit it. He's in a groove right now, boy. Stubbs just barely did get out of the way of that line drive.
Sure did.
He's coming at him a little faster than he could react to it.
Well, the 8th hit of the night for Colorado. Tulowitzki's been on all 3 times that he's come to the plate. Carlos Gonzalez stepping up there is 2 for 2. Pair of singles, an RBI. Now has driven in 22. The batting average continuing to climb at 262 for Gonzalez. Fouls off that first pitch. It is 0-1.
He's going to swing at the first pitch. If he can get the bat on it, he's swinging at it, boy.
Saw him do that last night. Began the game by doing that to Martin Perez. First ball he saw, just hacked that and doubled down the left field line. 0-1 pitch from Ross. Got him on the fist. Good pitch there. 0-2 now. And the Rangers with the overshift of the infield. Adrian Beltre, the only Ranger on the left side of the diamond. He's about 40 feet from the bag at third. Everybody else on the right side. Nobody out. Runners at first and third. Ross trying to avoid potential damage. Sounded like he broke his back. He's going back to the dugout for a new piece of lumber. Ranger fan brought his glove just like you suggest, Tom.
Yeah,
he put it to use.
Got a couple of gloves. He's sitting in the right side too. Make sure when that ball's coming, you protect those 2 little guys right there. The little guy brought his glove, but not going to do him much good on a line drive.
Not on that one.
No, that's where Dad has to come into play. I think Dad got the glove on it, but I don't think the ball stayed in the glove.
Another 0-2 pitch. Now 1-2. Carlos Gonzalez, see his base hits by direction this year. Up the middle of the diamond. And see that with almost every good hitter where they spray the ball from alley to alley pretty effectively. Ground ball fair down the third baseline, and Beltre fires his glove in disgust. He was playing way off the line, and Gonzalez beat him with an opposite field single, driving in the run. It is a 4-1 Colorado lead.
Frustrating ball. You make a decent pitch, you get a little dribbler, and it finds a hole. It's just a case in these 2 games. It doesn't matter whether they hit it hard or whether they hit it soft. They're going to find a hole somewhere. There's a ball that could easily have been just what Robbie was looking for. A nice double play grounder. Instead, it turns into an RBI hit.
Well, Mike Maddox out there to reinforce the positives with Robbie Ross.
Spin on that ball, hit near the foul line.
Yeah.
Came back about 5 feet. Hit it right off the end of the bat.
So a double and a couple of singles. Rockies expand their lead to 3 runs now. First and second, still nobody out. Nolan Arenado is the hitter. And he takes inside for ball 1. Arenado has sacrifice fly and a double play grounder. 0 for 1. Upped his RBI total to 23 with that first inning sac fly. Got Tulowitzki at second, Gonzalez at first. Ross with the pitch, gets a belt high strike or a little above. 1-1.
One before looked like a strike too. Yeah, they both could have been strikes. Definitely got to get 1 out of 2 anyway.
Robbie ready. A check of second. Now back to the screen, and Ross now with the advantage in the count in 1-2.
Not one of those guys this year that doesn't walk a lot, but he also makes pretty good contacts. He's not a big strikeout guy either. He's up there ripping.
All 6 of his home runs this year have come at home here at Coors Field. And he's already surpassed his total of 5 at home last year. Dangerous guy up there with runners at first and second. Line drive to Andrews. He goes back to second base for the double play as Tulowitzki took one step toward third, and that was one too many, and Elvis doubled him off.
Well, Robbie made a pretty good pitch. It's one of the few balls that's been hit that didn't find a hole. It wasn't hit all that hard. Got jammed a little bit. Puts the ball in on him a little bit. Unfortunately, he didn't elevate it. And Elvis is there to make the play.
Oh, 2 away now. Here's Justin Morneau, and he lines one to the gap in left center field. 2 over to cut it off. Stopping at second. Now going to third is Gonzalez. And Morneau with a solid single. Again, runners at the corners with 2 outs now. And Charlie Culberson coming up. The 4th hit of the inning. Unfortunately, the double play mixed in there has kept the damage down. Rockies have gotten into double figures with hits. They are at 10 for the evening. Now here's Culberson, who is 0 for 2. A couple of ground balls, once back to the mound, once to Beltre at third. And a broken bat grounder to Beltre. We'll gobble that up, fire to first, and that'll do it. Rockies add on a run on 4 hits. They leave 2. We're going to the 6th inning. It's Colorado 4, Texas 1 on Fox Sports Southwest. It is time now for the Sonic Slam Inning, brought to you by Sonic. Tonight's jackpot is worth $400 and dinner for 2 at Sonic Drive-In. Tonight, the Rangers are hitting for Lynn McDaniel from Fort Worth. And if a Ranger hits a grand slam this inning, Lynn McDaniel from Fort Worth will win $25,000. You can register at any participating Sonic restaurant. Rich Fielder to start things off. A new pitcher on the hill. Juan Nicasio is finished, and it is Arlington, Texas native Chris Martin.
Yeah, Chris
Tall
Martin.
right-hander, 6'7", 175 pounds is what he's listed at.
Yeah, it's quite a story. He was selected in the June draft back in 2004. And then again in 2005 by Colorado. He didn't sign with either club. Got a baseball for a while. Pitched for Pete Incaviglia for the Grand Prairie Airhawks. I think he made a call to a scout that he had known, and they signed him to a contract, and here he is in the big leagues throwing a well above average fastball and getting people out.
So Chris Martin signed, went to school at McLennan County, McLennan Community College. signed out of there in 2005, or he was drafted, I should say, in 2005. Did not sign, as Tom told you. Finally got into minor league system in 2011 with the Red Sox. Came over to the Rockies this past offseason in a trade with Boston, sent Jonathan Herrera over to Boston. So Martin on here to face Prince Fielder, who is 0 for 1, a strikeout and a walk. First pitch to him is inside for ball 1. Rangers trailing 4-1. They have been out hit 10-2. Juan Nicasio giving up the run on Beltre's home run, just 2 hits, but he had 5 walks, and that contributed to his exit after 5 innings of work. 1-0 pitch to Prince. Up the middle, that's into center field, a base hit. Fielder with his first hit of the night, 1 on, nobody out. Alex Rios coming up. Let's take time for a Mazda game break. Once again, here's Dana Larson. Dana?
Wow, that's great.
Thank you, Dana. Yeah,
that's when it really is a very serviceable thing. Game-winning play.
Happy for Clint Hurdle. He had the game-winning call to get the review. Game-winning challenge. That'll be a category, Warner. Game-winning challenges?
Probably. Walk-off challenge.
Rios, a ground ball to third, snagged by Arenado on around the diamond. A 5-4-3 double play, and that is a pretty fancy glove work by Arenado.
Well, he's made a believer out of me, I'll tell you that, after the last 2 plays he made. That barehanded play that he made on Beltre to end the inning with a couple of men on was a beautiful play. And this ball is a hard hit ball, takes a bad hop on him, and he catches it like it's a routine hop. Look at that. See why he won a Gold Glove last year.
Sure
We've only seen him for 2 games.
Well, that's the 4th outstanding play he has made down there tonight. Here's Donnie Murphy with the bases empty, and the first pitch is fouled away to the upper deck. Murphy 0 for 1, rounded to second base in the second, and then walked in the 4th. Donnie at 221, as you can see, for the season. Martin back to him. A rip and a miss. Pretty good movement on that Martin offering.
Yeah, when Inky had him with the Airhawks, he called a friend of his, a scout with the Red Sox, and told him all about him. Said, you just don't see many guys in this independent league throwing 95 to 96 miles an hour. You got to take a look at this guy. Finally had to tell him, look, if I ever called you before, come look at this guy. And the Red Sox did, and they signed him.
He looks like he probably weighs a little more than 175 now. That might have been a weight at a younger age. He's probably up to 180.
I think it was about 6'1" back then, when he weighed 175.
He's up to 6'7" now. 27-year-old, ready to go to work on the 1-2 pitch. And Murphy spoils it, fouling it off to the right. Donnie Murphy stepping back in, hitting out of that slightly open stance. Chris Martin, a high set. And again, the 1-2 pitch. Blowing outside, 2-2. Martin ready. And the pitch just off the inside corner. Boy, it looked like Donnie Murphy was looking away with all the pitches out there, and Martin tried to cross him up, just missed. inside by much, but enough. Well, it's 3-2. Murphy trying to get aboard with 2 outs to extend the inning. Martin with a payoff pitch. In the dirt, ball 4. Donnie Murphy draws the 2-out walk. That brings up J.P. Arancibia. The Rangers only 3 hits tonight, and they've had 6 walks issued to them. So they've had some base runners, just been spread out. Arancibia 0 for 2. Flied out to Carlos Gonzalez at the wall in the 2nd inning. Last time up, flied out to right. Martin, letter high set, and the pitch is tapped right back to him. Little underhand flip on to Morneau, and that'll do it. Rangers get a hit, a walk, they strand 1. We're going to the bottom of the 6th. It's the Rockies 4, the Rangers 1 on Fox Sports Southwest. Baseball on Fox Sports Southwest is brought to you by your Texas Ford dealers. Take the EcoBoost Challenge to see why Ford is the best in Texas. Now, Robbie Ross back to the hill to start inning number 6. And before Robbie begins things, let's check in again with Jim Knox. Jim?
All right, Buzz. Now, earlier this afternoon, before this game even took place, this was a scene right around the corner from Coors Field. It was the Hardline Show. That's right, the ticket in DFW. Corby Davidson, Mike Reiner, Danny Bayless. They're all doing the big popular radio show. And they've packed them in the last couple days. And here they are, right here in the stadium. Great seats. Mike Reiner, Corby Davidson, love the hair, Danny Bayless on hand. Now, Mike, I got to ask you this. You guys try to come to at least one road game a year. Is that right?
That's the way it's been going these last few years. Last year we were in Chicago. This year here in Denver. Having a great time.
Yeah, how did it go this time?
Excellent, excellent. Had a really nice turnout both days that we've been out there. A lot of people down from the area up here for this, and a lot of people from around here that know the ticket.
And I understand, Corby, I know I've heard it before, the Jim Knox impersonation. Go ahead, let's hear it real quick.
No, I can't do it.
Come on.
Hey, everybody. Hey, who are the Ranger fans over here?
There we go. I like it. What, dead on, Buzz and Tom, huh?
Yeah.
Nah, there's only one Jim Knox.
Well, I'm going to hand the mic off, let you take off the rest of the game. There we go.
Yeah, no, I was going to say to Tom and Buzz, thanks for those Colorado cookies you were talking about last night. Those work.
We didn't get them. You guys got them, huh?
Love the hair, Corby, and Danny is clean cut. As Kurt said, the world's turned around now, okay? All right, good to see you guys. Appreciate it. Keep them in line, Danny, all right? All right. All right, Knox.
Jordan Pacheco is starting off the bottom of the 6th inning. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. Ross back to him and missed with a changeup. 2-2. Pacheco, 1 for 1 tonight, a double and a walk. Rockies leading 4-1. And Robbie Ross trying to keep it right there. Bottom of the 6th inning. The 2-2 pitch on the way. Chopper out toward Elvis at short. On the run, he guns down Pacheco. 1 out, and the pitcher spot is coming up, and it won't be the pitcher. It'll be Brandon Barnes coming off the bench to pinch hit for Chris Martin. Well, Barnes, who started in center field last night, gets a pinch hitting assignment here this evening. Barnes at .338. No home runs, 3 driven in. Last night, Barnes 2 for 5 with a pair of doubles. Takes inside for ball 1. Ross back to the plate. Pitch fouled away to the right. Barnes, the former Astro, waiting for Ross's pitch. High ball, shallow right field, long run in for Rios. He can't get there. It drops for a base hit. And boy, Tom, that points up perfectly the thing you were talking about outfielders playing deep because of the carry of the ball, and the bloopers fall in more frequently.
Yeah, the blooper fell in for Barnes. Rangers hit a blooper out that way, but it carried a little bit more. I think Rios hit it. Charlie Blackmon ran it down. That one just never was hit hard enough to carry any further. That just fell in for a little single.
Alexi Ogando starting to loosen in the Ranger bullpen. And a left-handed hitting Charlie Blackmon up there right now.
Robbie's done a good job in this ball game. He's given up some hits, he's given up some runs, but he's out there battling.
Throw gets away from fielder. Barnes to second, and he takes a turn. Will hang on there as fielder gets the ball back across the diamond. But Ross trying to keep Barnes very close at first. Made a snap throw, and it got by Prince. It's going to be an error. The question is, who is the error going to be charged to? We'll get that word from the official scorer, pass it along to you. In any event, Brandon Barnes at second now with 1 out. Blackmon still awaiting the first pitch from Robbie Ross. Robbie set. And the pitch on the way, a bunt, and it's foul as Aaron Seavey did a good job of pouncing on that very quickly. The ball in foul territory, so Barnes back to second. And Blackmon coming back to the plate.
Blackmon is a leadoff hitters in the top 10 in the National League in RBIs. Driven in 23 runs now with his home run. Pretty good numbers for a leadoff guy. 400 on base percentage, 7 home runs, 23 runs driven in. Getting close to 400 against left-handed pitching. Tough to find a fault with him.
Yeah. 0-1 pitch. And that's flashed foul the other way, and it's now 0-2.
Well, after he hit the home run, Robbie hung a pitch to him on the inside part of the plate. He's gotten him out on weak ground balls to shortstop by keeping the ball away from him, and he's kind of reached and just tapped it to shortstop. When he kept the ball, when he got the ball on the inside part of the plate the first time up, that's the one he launched into the bullpen.
No balls, 2 strikes. Barnes, the runner at second base, getting his lead at the bottom of your screen. Ross, a belt high set, and misses outside, trying to hit that corner again. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Blackmon coming into play tonight, sitting .385 against left-handers, .352 against right-handers. 1-2 pitch. That's pulled down the first base line and just foul. The fielder playing off the line a little bit. And, boy, that was dangerously close to being extra bases.
No one's got a better view of it than Lance Barksdale at first base.
The fielder will still play off the line. That's the way the spray charts indicate that Blackman would be defensed. Still a ball and 2 strikes. 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Foul ball to the left. This might be Robbie Ross' last hitter. We've got a pair of right-handers in Stubbs and Tulowitzki coming up, and you saw Ogando getting ready in the Ranger bullpen. Stubbs and Tulowitzki and Alexa set to go if needed. And another flared foul down the left side. Aaron Seavey going out to say something to Robbie Ross.
Nice play by a Ranger fan down there. Brought his glove. Snow coned it right at the top of his glove. Sitting by himself too. Doesn't have anybody to celebrate with. Hope his friends are watching out back home.
Blackman back in. Ross reading the signs. Robbie a check of second. Now time called. There's always the thought process that we've gone away, and maybe Aaron Seavey went out there and said it's a time that we go inside. It's the idea of going out there kind of messes up the timing of that. Breaking ball that hung, and that's hammered foul down the right field side.
That's what happened to him the first time up. He's taking average swings when the ball's away, but he takes a much better swing when it's on the inside part of the plate. This one's obviously supposed to be down and away, and that's the ball he launched into the bullpen right there. That time he's a little bit out in front of him.
Still 1-2. Robbie agrees, and he is set. The left center field, Jew in a hurry, can't get there. It's down for a hit, being waved around third, and here comes the play at the plate on Barnes. He slides in safely and into second on the throw. Here's Charlie Blackman. The Rockies lead it 5-1.
Chu must have lost that ball in the lights because that was a very catchable ball. He came at it very defensively, which would lead you to believe he never really got a good look at it. It was one of those semi-line drives that easily could have gone through the lights. You watch him right in here as he's coming toward it. He puts his glove up and kind of shies away from it. And I can only think he was having a hard time picking it up. Otherwise, it was a pretty catchable ball.
For Ron Washington out, they're going to have a double switch as Alexi Ogando is summoned from the bullpen, and Josh Wilson will come in and take over at second base for Donnie Murphy. Well, Wilson will hit in the number 9 slot, previously occupied by Robbie Ross, and Ogando will hit in the 6th spot, in place of Donnie Murphy. So Robbie Ross finished for the evening. with a 5-1 trailing score. And he gives way to Alexi Ogando. Ogando on to face Drew Stubbs. One out here in the bottom of the 6th inning, and Charlie Blackmon at second. First pitch to Stubbs, way outside for ball 1.
Well, this inning was kind of typical of the way the game went for Robbie. Now, they hit some balls hard. They hit a home run. They hit a couple of doubles pretty hard. But in this inning, Barnes blooped the ball over first. Ball got by first. Barnes went to second. And then Blackmon blooped one into left field. It looked like the ball went through the lights on Chu. Otherwise, it was a pretty catchable ball. So there's been a number of balls, at least 4 or 5 of them out of the 12 hits that just blooped in. And I thought I saw Chu talking to Martin, kind of using kind of language with his arm, showing where the lights went through his eyes. I thought that's what he was doing anyway.
Rip and a miss by Stubbs, and he's down on the count now to Ogando. 1 ball, 2 strikes. We saw the new Rangers second baseman, Josh Wilson. Double switch here in the 6th inning. It's Wilson hitting in the 9th spot. He'll be up second when the Rangers bat in the 7th. Ogando moves into the number 6 position in the batting order. Stubbs tonight 2 for 3. He has scored twice, single and a double. Rockies again. Blackmon at second base with the RBI single. Have scored in all but 2 innings tonight. He scored in all but 3 last night. Scored in 5 of the 8 innings, and tonight kind of on the same pattern. Beltre, and safe is Fielder.
Fielder says he tagged him.
Yeah. And that's going to be a tough one for Lance Barkdale to see, because I think he got screened out.
And he never really extended his arm to tag him. He caught it, kind of handcuffed him. And as he went by, Prince felt like the runner brushed against his glove.
Ron Washington out to talk to Lance Barksdale, the first base umpire, and Wash will check with the bench, see whether there's enough video to maybe overturn that.
Tough to tell from that angle. Let's take a better look right here. There you go.
Yep, there it is right there. Brushed him on the body, on the arm and body as he went by. So the review is underway as Gary Cederstrom and Lance Barksdale, they were the two that were reviewing things in the bottom of the 5th inning. The call was overturned at first base, and they're over there again with the headsets on, listening to the replay center in New York.
And in real time, it didn't look like he touched him.
Right.
But the replay seemed to be pretty clear that he did. We'll see if they see it the same way.
We'll have the decision here, and he is out.
They did.
Overturned. That's 2 plays at first base tonight that have been overturned. Each manager has been successful with their challenges.
And that's where the challenge is really effective, because there really is no way Lance Barksdale, from his angle, and there's nothing he could do to get a better angle, could really tell that he tagged him.
Right.
Because Prince really didn't extend his arm. He was just close to him to begin with when he came by. And I'm not so sure that he could even see Prince's glove when the tag was made. But it was pretty clear on the replay what happened. See, Prince has his back to the umpire, tags him there, and the umpire could easily be blocked out and never have seen that.
Right. So it only took 59 seconds for the replay center in New York to reverse that call. And 2 outs now for Troy Tulowitzki. And he takes the breaking ball that's in the dirt. Aaron Sebia, nice job of blocking it. 1 ball, no strikes. Tulowitzki, a pair of singles. He was on by hit by a pitch from Robbie Ross in the 1st inning. Scored a run in that first. Batting average kind of getting ridiculous. .419. And up over 600 here at home this year. Blackmon at second, 2 outs. Ogando a check a little inside move just to make sure that Blackman wasn't going anywhere. And Aaron Sebia now is going to go out and say something to Alexi. The way that Aaron Sebia pointed out to second base, it was almost what you would expect to see if the catcher thought that the runner at second were stealing signs or giving location. Either one, take your pick. Which is kind of a no-no.
Kind of a big no-no, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it depends on who's hitting. With Tulowitzki hitting, it's a big no-no, yes.
Yeah, I don't think he needs any help.
No. If the guy's going to pop up, it doesn't matter. Yeah, that's not looked upon too favorably by catchers or pitchers. 7 straight times now Tulowitzki has reached base. 2 outs. Ogando trying to prevent any further damage here in the 6th inning. Comes set and throws a breaking ball that just cuts the outside corner in 2. A ball and 2 strikes. Tulowitzki had to back out and think about that one for a second. Aaron Sebia with a series of signs and Ogando ready. The 1-2 pitch. Another breaking ball, and that's just rolled foul as Tulowitzki able to get a very small piece of the ball. Now, Tulowitzki, as we mentioned, named the National League Player of the Month for April. He was also named the National League Player of the Week for last week. He's kind of piling on with the awards. Ogando trying to get him here. .96 and upstairs, he's able to foul that off. Still 1-2. Alexi, the most worked Ranger member of the bullpen. He's had the last couple of days off. He was on a record pace for appearances. Another 1-2 pitch is coming. Now 2-2. Ogando, with his 18th appearance, that's tops in the American League. Studying the signs, now the right-hander is ready. Tulowitzki drive to left center field. Shoe over, can't get there. It's down and to the wall. Blackman scores. Tulowitzki to second with the RBI double. It is a 6-1 Colorado lead.
Fouled off the 96-mile-an-hour fastball and then waited long enough on the off-speed pitch to reach for it, ball down and away. He still gets enough of the bat on it with that swing to drive it into left center field.
So Tulowitzki with his 30th RBI of the year. Out at second. That closes the book on Robbie Ross Jr. for the night. 6 runs all earned on 12 base hits in 5 1/3 for Robbie. Carlos Gonzalez 3 for 3. He's up there swinging fastball and got the breaking ball on the first pitch.
Yeah, you have to throw it in the dirt or over his head to keep him from swinging at the first pitch. It doesn't matter what kind of a pitch it is either.
Gonzalez, 2 singles to left, have driven in runs each time that he's done that. He's also had a single to right. And Tulowitzki at second, 2 outs. Bottom of the 6th inning. Hard hit under the glove of Elvis into center field around third. Tulowitzki will come home. It is a 7-1 Rockies lead. That ball was scalded.
Yeah, that ball was hit so hard Elvis couldn't catch it. A 96-mile-an-hour fastball too. I'd like to have the speed of the ball coming off the bat that time. I'm not so sure Elvis didn't get screamed out by the umpire.
Yeah.
He didn't have a whole lot of time to react to it. But the umpire kind of moved in front of him as the ball went by him.
Well, that's an RBI single by Carlos Gonzalez. His 3rd RBI, his 4th hit of the night. And a 7-1 Colorado lead. Nolan Arenado is coming up.
Yeah, as we've said many times already in 2 days, this is the wrong time to be playing Colorado in the wrong ballpark.
Yep.
They're just hot right now. Doesn't matter what you throw, where you throw it. And don't make a mistake. That's what's getting killed. If they hit it hard, it's finding a hole. And if they hit it soft, it's looping in. Infield hit, dribbling through the infield. A little bit of everything, but tough to slow this machine down right now.
14 hits last night, 8 runs. 14 hits tonight, 7 runs.
They're averaging. That's about what they're averaging.
Yeah.
7.5 runs a game in this ballpark.
Arenado 0 for 3. Or make that 0 for 2. He has grounded into a double play, lined into a double play, and had a sacrifice fly. And that 25-game hitting streak might be on the line right here. Bottom of the 6th inning with the Rockies leading. He may not get another opportunity to hit. The Rockies don't send a lot of folks to the plate in the last couple of innings.
And the at-bats they've had against Alexei, he's faced 3 hitters, gotten 1 of them out, but he's had to throw 16 pitches. And now he's behind 3-0 right here to Arenado.
3-0 pitch is on the way. Ball 4. The crowd kind of sensing that what's going on with the Arenado hit streak. Not real happy with that walk. And I doubt that Alexei's very happy with it either.
No,
He
didn't want to walk him. He probably doesn't even know about a hit streak.
Yeah.
Doesn't even know who Arenado is. He's not trying to walk him. He knows he's a good ball player. He's trying to get him out.
No, 1st and 2nd now. Justin Morneau, 1 for 3, steps to the plate. Morneau singled to left his last time up there. A rip and a miss. It is 0-1. Again, Ogando going with the breaking ball on the first pitch. Morneau hitting at .333. Pulled on the ground by fielder into right field. Gonzalez being waved around third. He will score. Into third goes Arenado. And the Rockies lead at 8-1. Morneau with the RBI single, his 26th RBI of the year.
It's definitely not 1 or 2 guys doing the damage. It's pretty much spread out throughout the lineup. Morneau making an excellent comeback this year. He's been down with concussion problems the last few years, but it looks like he's back right now.
Oh, 4 spot here in the 6th inning for the Rockies. And the 9th man to come to the plate in this frame, Charlie Culberson, is at the plate. Runners at 1st and 3rd. Gondo misses off the plate inside for ball 1. Culberson 0 for 3 tonight. 3 ground ball outs. He's the only Rockies hitter that hasn't been on base once tonight, at least. And Arenado at 3rd and Morneau at 1st. 1-0 pitch from Ogando. 2-0. The Ranger bullpen is silent, so this is up to Alexi to get out of this.
Yeah, we saw Jason Frazier come in to get an inning last night and end up throwing close to 30 pitches. And Alexi's going to throw his 22nd pitch right here. He's only had to get 2 outs.
Hits the outside corner, 2-1. Very much like good ball clubs, it's pretty much universal. You get them on a roll and get out of the way. They will just roll right over you. Rangers have found that to be true here in the 6th inning. A strike evens the count. 2-2 now. Rockies 8 runs on 15 hits. Rangers 1 run on 3 hits tonight. The 2-2 pitch from Ogando. Little looper out into right field. That is going to fall for a hit. Down to score is Arenado. A looping single by Culberson makes it a 9-1 Colorado lead.
One thing, the Rangers are going to be glad to get out of Colorado. Hit the ball hard, and it either finds a hole or we can't catch it, and then they bloop one in.
Jordan Pacheco, who began this whole mess by grounding out, seems like an hour and a half ago, up there for his second at bat, takes a breaking ball wide for ball 1.
And one thing, the long inning will assure that Arenado gets another at bat, probably, trying to keep his hit streak alive.
Yeah.
That will not be his last at bat.
Pacheco 1 for 2. He's walked and doubled along with a ground out. Ogando, knee-high strike, 1-1. Alexi is giving up 5 consecutive base runners after he got the second out of the inning. 4 hits and a walk. 1-1 pitch. To left, a base hit. Morneau being waved around third. Jew will not make a throw. And another RBI single, this one by Jordan Pacheco. The Rockies lead at 10-1.
Pacheco had the opportunity to make the first out of the inning and the last out, but didn't want to take that opportunity. Alexi came in and got the first out, got Stubbs easily on a tapper to third base. But it hadn't been quite so easy since that time.
6 consecutive Rockies have reached base. And Brandon Barnes will get his second at bat here in the 6th inning. Barnes came on as a pinch hitter with 1 out and the base is empty. Got a single. He eventually came around to score. Culberson at second, Pacheco at first. Barnes hitting .348. Ball 1. And CB going out to talk with Alexi and try to find some encouraging thing to say.
Alexi's had to throw 28 pitches and he's only gotten 1 out. This is just a series you really don't want to be pitching in this series. But I don't think it matters who's pitching or what they're throwing. Just can't slow it down.
2-0. No, this is where if you're in the bullpen, you disconnect the phone. I'm sorry it didn't ring. What can I tell you?
I'd like to see. I don't think Clayton Kershaw could shut them down the way they're swinging it right now.
Don't think so. Although he did beat the Nationals tonight in his first game back. 2-0 the count. Barnes takes a strike on the outside corner.
Now, 17 hits and 10 runs. You know what? I mean, we can sense what this feels like. What could it have felt like to the Orioles the night we scored 30 runs against them?
Oh, I can't even.
You know,
imagine.
the last 3 or 4 innings of that game.
Can't even.
I mean, this feels like an inning that will never end.
Yeah.
They had 3 innings that had to feel 3 times as bad as this.
Yeah. And they were at home, which had to make it even worse.
They were home. There were grand slams being hit.
Now, I can't imagine being on the losing into that. 2-2 the count to Barnes. Slowly hit to third. Beltre, bare hands, throws, not in time. Barnes legging out an infield single, then loads the bases for Charlie Blackmon.
How about the 2 hits Barnes has had this inning? He had about a 120-foot blooper into right field for a hit, and a 75-foot ground ball toward third for a base hit. Those 2 things shouldn't even add up to a hit.
And Ron Washington said that's enough. 32 pitches, and going to go out and get Alexi and take him back. Sean Tollison will be the new Ranger pitcher. Alexi gave up 7 consecutive base runners with 2 outs. Just could not find a way to stem the tide. So Tollison coming on. 10-1, Rockies leading. Bases loaded, 2 outs in the 6th inning. Back after this on Fox Sports Southwest. Beltre replica jersey from Smile Generation. This will be one of the most popular giveaways items all season, so make sure and get yours. Tickets are available at TexasRangers.com, or you can call 972-RANGERS. Make sure you're out there for the game on the 20th in the Beltre t-shirt. Now, Sean Tollison becomes the 3rd pitcher to work here in the 6th inning for the Rangers. 10-1. Rockies on top. They have had 7 consecutive 2-out base runners, 6 hits and a walk. All that on the ledger of Alexi Ogando. Bases loaded. Charlie Blackmon, who had an RBI single earlier in this frame, up there now. And Tollison missing outside for ball 1. Blackman, a pair of RBI tonight. Solo home run, the RBI single. 2 for 4 this evening. Lines run foul on the third base side. That almost got Charlie Culberson, who was leading off, coming down the line from third. Culberson saying, get that in fair territory, will you? One ball, one strike. John Tollison worked in last night's ball game. Worked an inning, gave up a couple of runs on 3 hits. 26-year-old back to the plate. And a fly ball pretty well hit to center. That sends Leonis Martin back, but well shy of the warning track. He stops and puts it away, and that is it. But Rocky come up with 6 runs in the 6th. And after 6, 10-1, Colorado. Hits. Rangers a run on 3. It's Beltre. That is first home run of the season in the first, and that's been the sum total of the Ranger offense. Top 4 hitters in the Rockies order have combined to go 11 for 16 with 7 runs scored. Boy, wrong spot at the wrong time.
It just, if they put the bat on the ball, it's finding a hole in these 2 games.
And the 7th inning, and Paul Weiss has gone to the bullpen. Left-hander Rex Brothers comes on to face the Rangers in inning number 7.
He's been pitching frequently. This will be his 16th ball game. Pitches about an inning every time out. Opponents are only hitting 167 against him. Enjoyed getting the chance to see Chris Martin pitch. Didn't really finish the whole story about Chris Martin. Hopefully we'll get to do that in Arlington. He pitches again. Quite a story. Hurt his arm in junior college, out of baseball, working several different jobs, played in kind of a rec league, an amateur league, a men's league, tried out for the Air Hogs, made the Air Hogs. Inky recommended him to the Red Sox. Red Sox signed him, traded him, and here he is in Colorado. Great story. He had a shutout in the last inning.
Yep. Elvis 0 for 2 tonight, a ground out and a pop out. Brothers to the plate. It is 2-0. Rex Brothers, a 26-year-old from Tennessee, facing Elvis Andrus. Brothers okays the sign and the 2-0 pitch. 2-1. Elvis now with the batting average down below 220. That's as low as it's been all season. Well, since opening day. He was at 200 after opening day. That's been the low water mark for Elvis. Brothers with a 2-2 pitch. High chopper. Brothers stumbles and he'll have no play.
Him down.
Down goes Brothers.
I hope he's all right. I hope he didn't get hurt.
It looked like he's got his feet tangled up and disgustedly tosses the ball away. No, Elvis with the infield single. Right off the plate.
That ball bounced right off the plate. It knocked him to his knees.
No, Elvis with his first hit of the night. And now Josh Wilson will come to the plate for his first at bat. Wilson part of that double switch last half inning. Josh at 234, 8 RBI. And he takes strike one. Josh 1 for 3 in his career against Rex Brothers. He fouls that pitch back and finds himself now down in an 0-2 hole. Same two teams tomorrow night, but different location. It'll be at Globe Life Park in Arlington. For the Rangers to be able to find some way to slow the Rockies down when they get them out of town. Colby Lewis and Jorge De La Rosa, starters in that ball game. The foul back to the screen, still 0-2. Thursday night, Matt Harrison and Franklin Morales will pitch in the series finale. Both those ball games, of course, right here on Fox Sports Southwest. 7 o'clock starts in Arlington. Brothers, another 0-2. Double play ground ball to short. Tulowitzki, Culberson, Morneau. Second ground ball double play turned against the Rangers tonight. And Colorado does that better than anybody else in the National League. That's their 43rd double play of the year.
Pretty well hit ball there by Josh. Not much you can do about that. You hit it pretty well, but it's right at Tulowitzki.
Well, here's Shin-Soo Choo for his fourth at bat of the night. He is 1 for 2, a walk and a single. He takes a strike from Brothers.
Yeah, Choo hitting .483 against left-handed pitching.
Choo has had success against Brothers. He's 2 for 3 in their matchups. 0-1 pitch in the dirt. Shin-Soo now at 363. Came in leading the American League at 360. And obviously he's gone up just a tick. The 1-1 pitch. Up the middle. Off of Brothers. It goes into foul territory, and Morneau can't hang on as he made the tag on Choo. Sliding by, Shin-Soo Choo is able to reach base.
Boy, that was a rocket, too, headed up the middle. Bounced to Morneau. Morneau got it in time. Couldn't hang on to the ball, but boy, that'd be robbed of a base hit if you get one taken away on that. A smash up the middle. Looked like hit off his foot. Choo's trying to sprint to get by the tag. He doesn't get by the tag, but Morneau couldn't hold on to it. Choo's been on 3 times tonight.
Yep, that's his second base hit.
Yep.
that batting average will continue to rise. Thinking you want to be a pitcher and see how fast you have to react.
Fortunately, it didn't hit him anywhere where it hurt.
It was on his feet before she hit him out of the way.
You don't have a whole lot of time to maneuver.
And the pitch to Michael Joyce, who is pitch hitting for Leonis Martin. Now with a left-hander on the mound, Ron Washington giving Michael an at-bat or two in this game. Joyce hitting at .213. He checks his swing on a pitch in the dirt. Couple of home runs, a dozen RBI. Of course, Michael had that big day in Anaheim over the weekend, 4 RBI day. That 3-run home run is second of the year. And a looper out into center field. That is falling in a hurry. It's down for a base hit. Stopping at second is Chu, and Michael Joyce takes advantage of the environment here and loops one in for a single.
Rangers starting to get the hang of it now. Hit it where they can't catch it.
Yeah.
Brothers got that one a little bit inside. Jammed Michael, but he muscled it over the infield for one of those frequent type of hits you see in this ballpark. The blooper that falls between the infielder and the outfielder. More so than other stadiums.
Shin-Soo Choo being pinch run for. Now Daniel Robertson comes into the game. Skipper trying to get a couple of his regulars off the field. Choo will retire in favor of the pinch runner, Daniel Robertson. So first and second with 2 outs. Adrian Beltre, 1 for 3 tonight, but very well could be 3 for 3. Way inside by Brothers. Beltre with the solo home run in the first. He was robbed of a blistered ground ball by Nolan Arenado down at third. And then a little slow roller that Arenado came in and barehanded and threw him out.
The Rangers are hitting well over 400 pinch hitting this year. 5 for their last 8. Something like 11 for 25 at about 440 pinch hitting. Mitch, I think, has had hits 3 or 4 straight times pinch hitting.
Yeah, 4 I think it is now.
Moving in on Bill Stein.
Yeah.
What Stein have? 8 or 9?
I think it was 9. Skag showing you the location of the pitches to Adrian Beltre. 1-2 the count. Rex Brothers, the high set. The pitch in the dirt. Adrian able to check his swing. That evens the count now at 2-2. Beltre hitting at .271 as he faces Brothers with 2 on and 2 out in the Rangers' 7th. Left-hander says okay and comes set. Swung on and missed. He gets by, goes to the backstop. The throw to first, though, gets Adrian a couple of steps. Well, the Rangers get 3 hits in the inning, but strand 2. Nothing across. It's stretch time in Denver. 10-1 Rockies. AT&T U-verse rewind of the night. Adrian Beltre robbed by his counterpart. Nolan Arenado, that was in the third inning, and then in the fifth inning, a nice barehanded pickup. Adrian Beltre getting in some tough luck. That Gold Glove third baseman down there for Colorado.
Well, he's got great hands and some kind of arm, boy.
Drew Stubbs to dead center field. That is deep and gone. First pitch of the bottom of the seventh inning. Drew Stubbs with his second home run of the year. It is 11-1. Rockies.
Everybody has at least an RBI. It's been a team effort except for the pitcher, or the pinch hitter for the pitcher. Although Barnes had 2 hits last inning and scored a run. Stubbs gets a hanger. Puts it up in the air and hits it 425 feet to dead center field.
Oh, 11 runs on 19 hits. Is that ball disappearing into the creek out there? Here's Tulowitzki. The first pitch to him is a strike on the inside corner. Tulowitzki 3 for 3. An RBI. He has doubled, singled twice, and been hit by a pitch. 425 the average for the Rockies shortstop. Sputting around Tollison. Make sure that he doesn't get too comfortable up there.
The first pitch was a strike.
Tulowitzki now with the RBI his last time up has 30 runs driven in. He shoots that pitch foul. 1 ball, 2 strikes. That RBI total for Tulowitzki's second in the National League to Giancarlo Stanton, who has 37 coming into play today.
A big league mustache.
Yes, it is.
Raleigh finger style.
Raleigh finger starter kit. Last time I saw Raleigh, he had it about ear high wrapping around his face. 2-2. Now the count to Tulowitzki. John Tollison, the Baylor X, and high school X. Back to the plate. Tulowitzki, a little nubber out toward the mound. Tollison will throw him out by a couple of steps. 1 out. And before Gonzalez comes up, let's take time for a Mazda game break with Dana Larson. Dana? All right, Dana, thank you. Well, Ron Washington out. He had Sean Tollison work last night and limited use tonight. He didn't want to overdo it. Had a call to the bullpen, and Neil Kotz, the Ranger left-hander, making his way in from deepest right center field. So another pitching change here at Coors Field. 11-1 the Rockies. We'll be back after this on Fox Sports Southwest. to send you on a VIP flyaway experience with your home team in LA. Text VIP to 638761 for your chance to be treated with VIP status.
Well, it's been a tough couple of games for Ranger fans who traveled here to Colorado to see the games. Great place to come watch a game, great city. But 2 tough ball games for the home folks.
And Neil Kotz on in relief. First time we've seen Neil in this series, and he gets a swinging strike 1 from Carlos Gonzalez. Here are your numbers on Neil.
Yeah, went out last night, didn't he? Didn't come and get that last
You're
out?
right. You're right.
We didn't see him for long.
No.
I think we said something like, I hope he only has to throw 1 pitch, and he threw 1 pitch and got the last out.
That's right. Sorry if things have kind of run together.
Well, he wasn't there for very long. He did get a stat, though, 1/3 of an inning.
Carlos Gonzalez, 4 singles tonight, 3 RBI. He has scored a run. He hits it toward left center field. In a hurry is Robertson. He can't get there. 1 hop off the top of the wall and over the wall. And Carlos Gonzalez has a 5-hit night with a ground rule double.
Making a concerted effort to get his average up with the rest of the guys. He came in at 250. 5 hits will help him out a little bit. Around 280 or so.
Oh, he can just flat hit, can he?
Yeah, he can. Kind of slice that ball a little bit toward the end of the bat.
20 hits tonight for the Colorado Rockies. Gonzalez with 5 of them.
Looks to me like he's the kind of guy that likes to extend his arms on pitches out over the plate. You have to try pounding him in on the inside part of the plate. Of course, if you do that in this series, he'll bloop it in anyway.
Yeah.
He'll just get jammed with one of those little Texas leaguers out there.
Nolan Arenado with that hitting streak on the line here against Neil Kotz. Season average of 309, 0 for 2 tonight. Did walk and score in that 6th inning. Kotz back to him. And that's out of play down the right side. A ball and 2 strikes. Arenado, the young third baseman, hits out of that slightly open stance. Kotz back to the plate. Misses low and in. 2-1 or 2-2.
Colorado came into the game with a team batting average of 300. Somewhere over 340 in this ballpark. Gone up significantly in this ballpark and altogether. Doing some pretty good hitting if your team batting average is 300.
That pitch off the plate inside. It's 3-2. Arenado facing Neil Kotz here in the 7th inning. Gonzalez, the runner at second base, as Kotz sets. The payoff pitch. Line drive down the left field line. It is on the chalk, a fair ball. Gonzalez will score. Arenado with a double to extend his hitting streak to 26 straight games. It is 12-1 Rockies.
Last night he hit a low pitch about 8 inches inside for a home run. This time the pitch is more like belt high, probably off the plate. I don't know if it was 8 inches off the plate, but he's swinging at this pitch no matter where it is with a hit streak on the line. That pitch is, yeah, it's probably 6 or 8 inches inside and high, and he still kept this one fair. That's some kind of hitting the last 2 nights on pitches that weren't even close to being strikes.
Wow.
Being able to get the good part of the bat on the ball and keep them both fair, high or low.
10th double of the year for Arenado. So a dozen runs on the board on 21 hits as Justin Morneau takes a strike to the outside corner. Morneau 2 for 4. RBI tonight. Kotz a check of second. And Morneau fouls it out of play. The 20 runs and 35 hits in 9 and 6, about 16 innings. Pulled on the ground, and Wilson has it. Josh on to first. And that is out number 2. On to third goes Arenado. Going to bring up Charlie Culberson. Culberson last time up joined the hit and RBI parade. Had the RBI single in that 6th inning. Well, his average up to 167. Kotz first pitch to him. It's foul back. Rockies have seen 2 left-handed starters for the Rangers in this series. They're going to see a righty tomorrow, Colby Lewis, and another left-hander, Matt Harrison. On Thursday, swing and miss. 0-2 to Culberson. Rangers will see a pair of left-handers for the Rockies. And the Rangers, you remember, among the best hitting against left-handers this year. Still 0-2 to Culberson. Kotz next pitch. And he misses high. In fact, Rangers coming into play tonight, hitting at a 309 clip against left-handed pitching. That's the best in the American League. Elvis to the backhand, sets, throws, one hop, and they got him. Nice play by Andrus, and the side retire, but the Rockies add on 2 more on 3 hits and leave 1. We're going to the 8th. Rockies 12, Rangers 1.
Game It could be this Bobby Knight Ranger lookalike. What do you think, huh? No, instead it is Colin and Lauren came here part of the Rangers destination trip, but this is much more than a trip for you guys, because what is it all about, Colin?
We're having a baby moon.
All right, and that is because, Lauren, you guys are expecting twins any day?
Well, not any day, but that's right, twins.
Okay, you're going to name them Buzz and Tom, right?
Right, Jim.
Okay, all right, good enough. Well, here's the bag. Congratulations, Rangers fans of the game. And, hey, tomorrow night's another night, all right?
That's right. We got it tomorrow.
We're still not giving up on tonight, right?
No, there's still time.
Let's go. All right.
Let's go Rangers.
Let's go Rangers. There you go. Appreciate it, Buzz.
All right, Nazi, thank you very much. Now, Matt Belisle, the easiest one to tell you about with all the changes that are going on. Belisle on now to take over on the hill.
16th game for Matt Belisle. Been a solid middle reliever for a number of years.
Got a lot of defensive changes for the Colorado Rockies. We'll get to them as this inning unfolds. But Belisle, 33-year-old veteran right-hander. On to pitch here in the 8th inning. He'll face fielder Rios and in the pitcher spot. First pitch to Prince is inside. Fielder 1 for 2 tonight. He's walked and singled. Also struck out. Belisle's next pitch, and that is in the dirt. He's working to a new battery mate.
I think the battery mate is Michael McHenry.
Michael McHenry.
Yep. Jordan Pacheco has moved to first base.
Fastball strike. Pacheco at first, and LeMahieu is at second.
Yeah, Charlie Culberson has moved over to short, I think.
Fielder takes up and in. It's 3 balls and a strike. Belisle to the wind. Fielder taken all the way. Payoff pitch. Chopper up the middle. That's where Culberson is stationed. 1 gone. Well, Belisle gets Fielder on a 3-2 pitch. Now Alex Rios. Rios 0 for 3 tonight. He has flied out into a double play. Last time up, he grounded out into a double play. And average slipping now down to 310. He takes a strike from Belisle. Right-hander, back to Rios, check swing, 1 ball and 1 strike.
The other change, Buzz, Corey Dickerson is in left field.
Okay.
That's for you and all those people at home that are probably trying to keep score of this game. All 2 or 3 of you anyway. Hope your card doesn't look like mine.
Now ball to second, LeMahieu up with it. And Rios is retired very quickly, 2 away. And Mitch Moreland now is going to come up and pinch hit for Neil Kotz. And we'll take time here to show you our AT&T fan photo of the night. Thanks to the good folks at AT&T for making this possible, and thank you for sending your photos along. This from David. Bud's out at the ballpark, checking things out in their Ranger gear. You can send your photo along if we pick it, and we'll get it on a broadcast for you. Hashtag Southwest Fan Photo. Tweet it to us. We'll throw it in the hopper along with the rest of them. See if we can't get you on the air. 0-1 pitch to Mitch. Check swing on the ball up and in. Moreland at 274 now. He had that, as Tom told you, that pinch hit last night. Belisle to the wind. And Moreland to left field. That is going to fall for a base hit.
There's 5 straight hits.
Wow. Mitch Moreland, another pinch hit success story.
Dude, I think are 12 for 26 now pinch hitting, which is just a remarkable number. Pinch hitting is a tough job. You sit on the bench cold. You can at least go in and hit a ball off a tee or hit in the cage to stay loose, stay warm. But still, you're generally coming up later in the ball game against a pretty good relief pitcher. And to go 12 for 26 as a team is a pretty remarkable stat this early in the season.
J.P. Arancibia takes strike one. Yeah, it is. Pretty remarkable any part of the season.
Yeah, I didn't mean like it was more remarkable. That kind of came out wrong. It is early in the season, and they are 12 for 26. But that's not why, because it's the beginning of the year.
Arancibia 0 for 3 tonight. Up there with Moreland at first, 2 outs. And there's a towering drive down the left field line, but it's hooking into the corner, certainly deep enough to find home run territory, but about 20 feet foul. Well, JP had at least a double, if not more, taken away from him first time up. And Carlos Gonzalez picked the ball right off the top of the fence for the out. Now 0-2 facing Belisle. Belisle ready. Back to the plate. Line to right field. That's hit pretty well. Going back and over the head of Blackman. One hopping off the wall. Moreland being stopped at third, into second with a line drive double as J.P. Arancibia. There's that area of the ballpark, Tom, you were talking about. Ball gets out there and really scoots, and it did. It got over Blackman's head fast.
Yeah, it definitely does. And, you know, I'm sure that the ball carries to all parts of this park well, but the Colorado people seem to think that from right field to right center field towards center field is the best part of the ballpark for the ball to carry, especially if you hit the ball on a line like that. I'm not sure Blackman took the perfect route for that ball either. Might have fooled him. Hard hit ball directly over his head like that.
Now here's Elvis, who had that infield single. His last time out, chopped one right off the plate. Got his first hit of the night. Takes Belisle's pitch a little bit low. It's 2-0. Yeah, Moreland at third, Arancibia at second. Top of the 8th inning. And there's a knee-high strike. Belisle has the sign, a check of the runners. And Elvis chops that foul off his front foot. 2-2. Rangers trying to at least make it a little more respectable. You never know what you can do in the latter stage of the ball game, but trailing by 11 at the moment, they just like to cut that down as much as they could right here. In the dirt, Henry able to block that pitch. So the count has gone full now to Elvis. He's able to extend the inning. Josh Wilson will be the next hitter. Our Skag pitch tracker. The various areas of those pitches. All 4. And that'll load him up with 2 outs for Josh Wilson. Elvis on for the second time tonight.
Josh hit the ball hard his last time up. He ended up hitting into a double play, but he hit a one-hop smash that Tulowitzki turned into a double play.
Wilson 1 for 1 against Matt Belisle. He's got the bases full with 2 outs here in the Ranger 8th inning. Belisle's first pitch. It's a belt high strike. Moreland at third. And Seavey at second. Andrus at first. Henry flashing the signs out. Belisle picks one out. That's out of play, and Wilson now down in an 0-2 hole. 27,838 on hand here tonight, just a little bit larger than last night's crowd. We have seen another Rocky onslaught. Rockies with 12 runs on 21 hits. Belisle set for the 0-2.
Belisle's going to be in danger of tossing 30 pitches this inning himself.
Sure is.
Seen a couple of Ranger pitchers forced to do that. The Rangers might force one of their relievers to do the same thing. This will be his 28th pitch this inning.
Back to the plate. And a chopper slowly hit out towards short. Culberson on the run. And he throws out Josh Wilson. The Rangers get a couple of hits and a walk and leave the bases full. 7.5 in the books. The Rockies 12. The Rangers 1. Versus TV showing you tomorrow night's matchup. We shift venues. It's Globe Life Park in Arlington. Troy Tulowitzki and his Major League leading .421 average coming into play. Leonis Martin and the Rangers. And Leonis .392 average at home leads the American League. So it will be a different scene, and a different scene that we have not seen before in a Ranger uniform. Mitch Moreland is coming on to pitch the 8th inning, and Moreland did some closing work in both high school and college.
Yeah, he's not unfamiliar with the mound. Seen Craig Gentry pitch, and occasionally you'll see a position player pitch who doesn't have a whole lot of experience as a pitcher. I think David Murphy pitched one time too, didn't he?
I believe he did, yeah.
But Mitch used to be a pitcher, so I'd see a pretty good fastball from Mitch. About 94.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
Light that right up.
That's why he was a closer in college.
A little bit high. Jordan Pacheco, the hitter. Adrian Beltre at third. Probably doesn't know where to position himself.
Don't you know that every position player on the field snapped their head at the scoreboard to see how hard he's throwing? At least if you get a hit off Mitch, you can say you got a hit off something that resembled a pitcher. I remember when Jeff Kunkel came in to pitch, he was throwing it up there in 94.
To right field. On comes Rios, a running catch.
No. One didn't fall in.
That's typical. You guys, you outfielders, you stick with each other, don't you? You couldn't make that play with the pitcher on the hill, but Moreland gets out there and you can make that outstanding play.
That was 93 mile-an-hour fastball with a little sinking action on it. Jacko just kind of slaps it out there. Yeah, nice play by Alex. Well, Michael McHenry's getting a chance to. Miss McHenry?
No, that's Dickerson.
Dickerson. Okay, they had it wrong on the scoreboard.
I believe.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
no,
it is
McHenry's hitting fourth. They switched it around.
Yeah, Corey Dickerson getting his first at bat. Dickerson at 366, a couple of home runs and 5. And look out, got a low bridge. Moreland coming up and in. Don't you dare dig in on me. That's out of play to the left.
I know between innings when he was warming up, he had it. Mitch featured a changeup. I don't know what else he has for an off-speed pitch.
He misses it outside. It's 3-1. Well, he's got the classic old school windup back up over the head.
He does.
Hugh Darvish taking some pointers. Not really. 3-1. The count is now full to Dickerson.
I'm pretty sure, if Mitch wasn't a hitter in college, he would have signed as a pitcher and got an opportunity. And if he can throw 91 to 94 miles an hour as a first baseman, never having pitched, you have to think that he might have developed into a pretty good pitcher.
Sure. Payoff pitch here is chop foul. At 93 was a pretty good sink to it.
Yeah. He's going to have to ice his arm down for 2 hours on the flight. Ron Washington is praying for anything but a 30-pitch inning, that's for sure.
Again, the payoff. In the air to right field. This one carrying, but not quite to the track. As Alex Rios makes the grab. That is out number 2. And while we have a moment, let's head back and check in with Dana Larson for a preview of Rangers Live. Dana? All right, Dana. Yeah, Mitch.
Slider right there. A cut fastball. Tell you what, there's worse pitchers in the big leagues than Mitch Moreland.
Yeah. I think you're right.
Got a shot at the first 1, 2, 3 inning of the night. Change
Here's his changeup. And Blackman said, why me? Why would you break that out on me? Blackman 2 for 5 this evening with a home run and a single. A couple of runs driven in.
The way Mitch is thrown, I don't think Ryan will be afraid to use him again.
Oh, 2 pitch. Now 1 and 2.
The scoreboard put 90 miles an hour cutter.
It did.
Yeah, they must have called down to find out what kind of repertoire Mitch has. Look what it was. It looked like what it was, though. Ouch. Take that, Blackman. 94 mile an hour on the fist. 1, 2, 3.
Pick the fingernails off that ball.
Pitchers better bow down when Mitch comes into the dugout.
On to the ninth inning, 12-1 Colorado. Southwest is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find Southwest Airlines fares online only at southwest.com. By AT&T UVerse TV. Check availability at 1-800-PICK-ATT. Rethink possible. And by your Texas Ford dealers. Take the EcoBoost Challenge to see why Ford is the best in Texas. The ninth inning has arrived, and the Rangers now with Mitch Moreland working a perfect eighth inning. Discussing things with Mike Maddox to ask him when he can work out now and when his next assignment's going to be on the mound.
Well, if you knew he wouldn't get hurt, you could use him in a mop-up role to save the bullpen.
Adam Ottavino on now to pitch the ninth inning.
It's like a really good hitting pitcher. You can't tell, like Darren Oliver. When Darren's hitting, if you didn't know who he was, you wouldn't say that guy doesn't look like a big league hitter. With Mitch out on the mound, if you came into the ball game, you wouldn't know he wasn't a pitcher.
Right.
Especially if you looked up at the scoreboard and saw he was throwing 92, 93, 4 miles an hour with a cutter and a changeup.
Daniel Robertson at the plate and goes after the 0-2 pitch and chops it foul. Robertson with his first at-bat of the night. He came on as a pinch runner in the seventh inning for Shin-Soo Choo.
You know how players like to talk in the dugout about what they did in high school, what they did in college. Mitch probably said, yeah, I threw 94, 95 miles an hour in college, and everybody goes, yeah, right. But he got a chance to go out there and prove it to him.
Breaking ball is just a bit low. 1-2 now.
If Mitch can throw 92 to 94, how hard do you think Pudge could throw?
Probably the same.
Had to throw at least the same.
I'm going to say 94. Yeah.
I mean, Mitch has a good arm, but he didn't have an arm like Pudge. Occasionally, Pudge would warm up on the side. And aside from the fact that he's not as tall as most pitchers, he could look like a pitcher, too.
Yeah.
And he had a breaking ball. He had Nolan's delivery down pat.
Did he?
Yeah. High leg kick.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Daniel Robertson. Ottavino back to the plate. And a ground ball to short. Culberson on to first. That is out number 1. The 28-year-old right-hander, Adam Ottavino, gets the first out. And now Michael Choice will come up. Choice had a pinch hit single in the 7th inning.
Well, Jansen for the Dodgers used to be a catcher. He's a mid-90s guy.
Yeah.
Troy Percival used to be was a catcher before they turned him into a relief pitcher. He was a mid-90s guy.
Yeah, Percival threw like a catcher too.
Yeah.
Which probably would hurt his arm eventually. But he was good for a while. Michael Joyce sitting at 226. Ottavino misses a little bit low. It's now 2-1. Breaking ball, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Looking out at the scoreboard, and Seattle again leading Oakland 4-3 tonight in the 7th inning. Looping liner, up the ladder goes LeMahieu, and he comes down with it. Michael Joyce bid for his 2nd hit of the night. LeMahieu said, no, I don't think so. 2 down here in the 9th inning. And Adrian Beltre coming to bat one more time.
Well, the Angels are tied with the Yankees in the 8th inning. If they beat the Yankees, Seattle beats Oakland. Oakland stays in first place, but it bunches up after that between the Rangers, Seattle, and the Angels.
There's the manually operated scoreboard. Coors Field. Beltre a drive to center field. Going back is Stubbs. He's going to stop just shy of the warning track and put it away. And that is the final out of the ball game. So Ron Washington's club comes in and gets scorched a couple of games. Last night 8-2 and tonight 12-1. The Rockies continue to dismantle teams here at Coors Field. So 12-1 the final. We'll be back to wrap things up right after this on Fox Sports Southwest.